Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be reacting to VaatiVidya's Dark Souls Prepare to Cry series. It's not going to be the remastered Prepare to Cry, it's going to be the original Prepare to Cry edition, which is like his first set of videos. And I am so excited to jump straight into just reacting to someone who's put in the time and thought and theory crafting to kind of bridge the story together in a cohesive way. I think it's going to be very enjoying. Why am I struggling with this vocabulary here? It's going to be very enjoyable to sit through and watch and get some clarification on these characters after we just beat Dark Souls Remastered. So with all of that being said, I'm not much of a reaction channel person, so I don't know how well I'm going to record this video, if I'm going to do a good job or not. Things I want to say is, if you don't know who VaatiVidya is, I'll have his link in the description, and subscribe to him. He is doing great work now for all of the From Software games, and he's just a great source of information if you really want to learn the story. So let's just get straight into it. I'll do my best to react properly. I don't even know how I'm gonna be reacting. It doesn't make much sense. All right, let's do this. Also, I have no clue why everything is so orange right now. It's pretty whack. I'm like an orange man. The whole room is orange for some reason. Probably the way the sunlight's hitting from this window and bouncing back. It doesn't look orange, but on the camera it looks extremely orange. All right, y'all. You guys don't know how excited I am. I can't even talk right now. I'm so excited to watch these videos. Quick preface: subscribe to VaatiVidya. Do it. He does great stuff. Also, before we get into it, get yourself some snacks, okay? Get yourself your favorite drinks, whether it be not healthy stuff like I'm eating right now or healthy stuff. Grab your snacks, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy some very thought out, put together lore videos, okay? There you go. Just sit back right there, little corn nuts, baby. These things go hard in the paint. Let's do it. I'm excited. We're starting it off watching the trailer, so let's do it, baby.
See the struggle of others unfold around us as they fight for the things important to them. There's a man who fights on behalf of his broken homeland, another who fights to prevent his kingdom being broken. One man believes in research for the sake of knowledge, and maybe this knowledge will give you the power to fix your mistake. With this power, you may have to do terrible things to many, to save the lives of many more. How can the gods be so cruel, to stand idly by while the powerless have everything taken from them? Perhaps if you give them something, then they'll give you something in return. Surely there's a reward for faithfully serving the gods of this land. Or perhaps you'll be cast aside to fade from memory, a fool who dared to believe in something greater, without ever knowing that your final acts could have changed fate. Man is born from the dark, a soul that is kindled, flickers, dwindles and dies in the shadow of his gods. The human form is fragile, and death comes quickly, but the spirit
I hate those guys.
Clings to life like a...
I freaking hate those guys, the demon titanite beings. They can go jump off a bridge.
Only a mortal can. So in a way, man was not designed to become undead. Fear of death is what lets us live. Take that away and humanity becomes harder to hold on to. Without humanity, you could become more hollow than man. Yet an undead who would die for something has nothing to fear, for death simply becomes a stepping stone to his goal.
Ain't that the truth? In this game specifically.
Stand up 8. That's the cry of the undead. It's not a matter of life or death, it's about what breaks first, your will or the barriers in your way. Everyone has their own paths to face.
Have you seen my father? You wouldn't miss him. A suit of armor just like mine.
I forgot about Zingland. Oh, I freaking linked the fire. I didn't get to do any like backtracking to finish up stuff. As soon as I killed Gwen, I linked the fire. Oh, I forgot about her. Oh, I messed up. Nothing a New Game Plus run won't fix, though.
Friend, I have an idea. A good one, really. I will rush those dire fiends, and you can slip away in the confusion.
Why?
Your real ones!
After all this searching, I still cannot find it. Was it all a lie? Have I done this all for nothing?
All of you, forgive me, for I have availed you nothing.
I'm finished. We're both on the brink, you see. End of story. You bloody fool. Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know, and I can die with hope in my heart.
So do we fight for one man who fell? No. We fight for the many who fell before us, for the souls of nameless soldiers, warriors, and heroes.
Did you ring the second bell? That is incredible, I must say.
I cannot do it myself. I lack the strength and the bravery. But you,
Koilana.
finally, the curse of the undead will be lifted.
That's Rhea.
Can die human.
No. That's our firekeeper
Faithful.
in Firelink Shrine.
Please.
Kill of the first flame. Yes, sir, dude. Yo, good job, Vati. Vati, good job setting that whole intro up. That must have taken a long time to learn, to build that intro to the whole Prepare to Cry series. Wow, man, clap it up. I'm hyped now. Now, I don't know which one I want to watch first. This one says part 1 and part 2, but then it falls off. It doesn't say part 3 or 4 anymore. So I'm going to just watch in the posted order in the playlist. So I don't care if let's watch Pinwheel first, and then Black Iron Tarkus, Solaire of the Sun. Let's just go down the list. I might avoid anything. Actually, no. I don't think I'm gonna be avoiding anything here. Let's just watch every video. I'm very excited. Let's get into it.
Pinwheel the Necromancer, who stole the power of a Gravelord.
Sorry, this is gonna suck. Oh, these videos are so long. Were posted so long ago, there's only 720p.
Pinwheel the Necromancer, who stole the power of a Gravelord. A mother, a child, and a father, all fused into one form. His tale is one of guilt, regret, and a desperate desire to fix his mistakes.
We gotta run that back.
Pinwheel the Necromancer, who stole the power of a Gravelord. A mother, a child, and a father, all fused into one form. His tale is one of guilt, regret, and a desperate desire to fix his mistakes.
I forgot he was a necromancer. Did he manage to steal the secret rite of kindling from Gravelord Nito? Because when we go fight Gravelord, he's just chilling in his tomb. So apparently this necromancer was getting active in the catacombs while Nito was taking a nap. That's crazy, dude.
Death masks are mementos of the dead, representing the wearer before they passed away.
Whoa, say that again? What type of masks are these again?
Of guilt, regret, and a desperate desire to fix his mistakes. Death masks are...
Death masks. I do not remember reading that in their item descriptions. Why is it called a death mask? Also, I'm gonna try to stop pausing so frequently. Death mask. My memory does not serve me well. It probably lasts not so long. It doesn't last long at all, especially when trying to understand a lot of lore and stuff like that. So let's just have things clarified for us.
Are mementos of the dead, representing the wearer before they passed away. Mask of the father.
Frick me, man. Sorry.
And a desperate desire to fix his mistakes. Death masks are mementos of the dead, representing the wearer before they passed away. Mask of the father. This mask, belonging to the valiant father, represents great burden and equipment load. The father made a mistake, and he carries that burden with him. It's literally a constant weight upon him. Represents great burden and equipment load. The father made a mistake, and he carries that burden with him. It's literally a constant weight.
What? There's no way. Is this really what's underneath the drapes that is Pinwheel? Is it really 3 undead in there? Or necromancers? That is cool.
Weight upon him. Mask of the child. This mask, belonging to the naive child, represents the limitless energy and stamina of youth.
That is, oh yes sir. I don't know if the item description told me that, so I'm seeing that as new information, and that is really cool to know.
Mask of the mother. This mask, belonging to the kindly mother, represents the life giver and her vitality. A long time ago, something happened to this family, and they were brought together through necromancy. The father bears the weight of his wife and his child on his back, a family woven together to become Pinwheel. It seems as if, in another time long past, the human mother and child died tragically, and the father was overcome by grief. Without family, it is said that man is alone in the world. But he was valiant, and in his desperation to be reunited with his family, he took great risk to steal power from a lord of death, Nito.
Just think about, like, the balls to just, I mean, we killed Gravelord Nito, but this dude had some balls to go, drop down in the... Wait, how do you even get out of this cave in the first place? You can't get out of it. You just drop down into the hole and you're stuck there. How do you get out?
With this power he attempted necromancy, reviving the corpses of his wife and child. But something went wrong. In his desperation to be reunited with his family, his necromancy backfired and the family became whole. A mother, child and father, reunited in a physical, grotesque form. Pinwheel. In his current form, Pinwheel resides in a crypt, filled with his tireless efforts at necromancy and revival. The creature is still sane, and continues to devote itself to experimentation and research into necromancy. But why? Well, the corpses of the mother and child were restored, but at what cost? They live on as an abomination. The only thing Pinwheel has managed to do so far is split itself into various forms, which it dumped and discarded at the entrance to Nito's tomb. Assumedly, Pinwheel is trying to split itself into separate beings, so that the father, the mother, and the child can be properly restored as was originally intended.
Wow.
But nothing works. For some reason, his crypt is open when you meet him. Imagine how shocked he must be to see an intruder after all these years. Someone who would interfere with his...
And that, dude, this part was so creepy when they all, like, are whispering together in a group, devising a plan, and then they all stare at you immediately. Woo! That gave me the heebie-jeebies. Also, the boss music in his tomb, the Pinwheel boss music is fantastic.
His attempt to make things right. Who knows how close he was to success? How close he was to fixing his mistake?
Click here for the Prepare to Cry playlist. We already got that going. Dang. That kind of reminds me... It's always like when... In any anime where you try to bring the dead back from life, it never kind of goes how you plan it to go, you know? Because... in Dark Souls, as an undead, death is not final, but as a human, death is final, and that's just one thing you can't reverse. you will never be able to reverse it. What's coming to my mind is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where he's trying to. I think it saves his. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but it's like the little. I can't explain it that well, but there's a scene where he kind of has to give up his arm in order to like transfer his soul, his brother's soul, on that piece of armor. Like with this type of stuff, I don't really know how it all works, but I feel like with this type of stuff, you have to like offer something up, and it just becomes like a whole grotesque mess. But the good thing, the cool thing that I extrapolated from this video is that Pinwheel, based upon this video, is sane. So like they're conscious. That is interesting. They're conscious. Like they're not hollowed out. They actually know what's going on. That's really cool. I appreciate that added intel. As I said, man, I really don't understand how to do reaction videos, so we're just gonna move on to the next video here, which is about Black Iron Tarkus.
Pinwheel the
Whoops.
Necromancer, who's...
I think it's just gonna autoplay. I want to make sure everything is as high quality as it possibly can be. I honestly don't remember much of Black Iron Tarkus at all, so this is going to be new information, or seems like new information for me. Oh shoot. I remember reading, like, a comment said that Tarkus literally can 1v1 the Iron Golem without your help. And this is like proof of it right here.
We all remember the help Tarkus gave us that day. Tarkus was like us, someone trying to make it through the world to uncover the truth. The least we can do is follow in his footsteps and succeed where he failed. The Knights of Berenik are known for their heavy armor and weaponry. There is no nation that is physically stronger, but even among them there was Tarkus, a knight renowned for having strength great enough to sport a set of heavy black iron that was unique to him alone. Berenik was a land outside of Lordran, but it was not free from the curse of the undead.
I don't know what he's saying. Is it Baron? I have to have the subtitles up on here. I'm gonna keep the subtitles on. If you don't like that, I'm sorry, but I need to understand what he's saying. Let's go back a little bit.
Berenik was a land outside of Lordran.
Berenik was a land outside of Lordran. I don't remember hearing or seeing anything about Berenik while playing.
But it was not free from the curse of the undead. As the curse spread and society crumbled, countless knights became undead. But the knights had not lost their sanity yet. Throughout the neighboring lands, a prophecy was spreading. An old saying from Astora that said this.
Oh!
Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords.
Yes!
And thou ringest the bell of awakening. The fate of the undead thou shalt know.
He couldn't have said it any other better than I was going to say it then.
With nothing else to go on, the undead knights of Berenik ventured to Lordran, which was told to be at the heart of the undead curse. They were right. The gods were partly responsible for the crumbling world. The light in Anor Londo is an illusion, and many gods have already abandoned the world of men.
So that's confusing to me, because it is a legendary city, but it also stated in some of the ring descriptions, I believe, like the Seance ring or the... I don't remember the exact names, but it is the Lost City. Anor Londo, the Lost City, or the Forsaken City, which doesn't make any sense because while we were going through, it was absolutely pristine and stuff like that. And then Vati dropping it's an illusion
For the
on
real
me.
light, the first flame, was fading. There was one path into Anor Londo, and that was through Sen's fortress.
And we owned Sen's fortress. Don't get it twisted, baby. We handled that mug like a freaking pro.
So the Knights of Berenik threw themselves at the deadly castle, trying to force their way through. And they were not the only ones. Within Sen's fortress we see the hollowed forms of both Knights of Berenik and Balder, two nations that attempted to reach the land of the gods, desperate to discover the fate of the undead. Near the top of Sen's fortress there is an undead man who desperately tries to retain his sanity.
Remember, counts. Counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Count.
He has seen all the heroes pass through Sen's fortress, never to return.
For a century.
That is so sad. I don't remember hearing that dialogue when I talked with him. He was kind of downplaying me ever since when I went through the fortress. I didn't know his situation was that perilous. I didn't pick up on the cues, which I don't pick up on the cues easily.
They've tried and failed. The Night King Rendell, Black-Iron Tarkus, and even Logan himself. You won't stand a chance. You'll be eaten alive. But go along if you wish, if only to deepen your despair.
They all failed. Every Knight of Berenik, every Balder Knight, the Night King Rendell, and Logan himself. Every one of them failed. Except Tarkus. Tarkus conquers the fortress, leaving his hollowed brothers behind. He carves his summoning sign at the top of Sen's fortress, so...
I knew there was a summon sign in there! I freaking knew it! I was thinking to myself when I walked across this bridge, and I was like, this has to be a summon sign in this little tower right here, because it was empty. But guess what? I didn't understand. I don't think at that time in the playthrough I still understood the humanity aspect of reversing your hollowing and then kindling yourself. I didn't really understand that mechanic, so I missed out on his summon.
His spirit will be able to aid anyone else who comes as far as he does. Time is convoluted in Lordran, and even if Tarkus is already dead, his spirit will remain to aid those who need help with the final step.
Sorry, I'm pausing it. And we have Solaire to thank for that wonderful explanation of multiplayer and how time works in the Souls series. It's like warriors passing in from age past to help you out and then going through, like they could already be dead, but their essence is still existing in the world, you know? And I think that's cool. Like the time is interweaved in such a close manner that someone who could already be dead still has a summon sign to aid you in battle. It's kind of a hard concept to grasp, but it does give like a reasoning behind all of the in-game mechanics for the game, which not a lot of games, maybe more so nowadays, but this came out in 2011. So not many games at this time were going through, I guess, or explaining, having lore reasons for in-game mechanics. And you really have to appreciate the amount of depth that From Software takes in world building, and especially it's very highlighted in Dark Souls 1 compared to Dark Souls 3. Like Dark Souls 1, I think, does a better job at explaining why everything happens the way it happens in Lordran and in the From Software games. Like, by the time you're at Dark Souls 3, you kind of understand all of the crap, but Dark Souls 1 originated everything.
Even if those heroes exist in another dimension. For guarding the final step to Anor Londo is the Iron Golem. It is said that the soul of this construct was originally the bone of an everlasting dragon, and it has slain countless heroes seeking Anor Londo. For the sake of all those who came before him, Tarkus prevails. He becomes the first one to make it to Anor Londo.
What a Chad move by Tarkus.
But the tragedy begins here. For when Tarkus arrives at Anor Londo, he finds the path retracted before him. He must break into the palace by the only path available. Up a narrow ledge, through a window, and across the ceiling rafters protected by painting guardians. This operation runs counter to his
So Tarkus is the one who breaks that window?
skills. Encumbered by his armor and huge weaponry, Tarkus falls to his death on the rafters, and is dragged into a corner by the painting guardians. But his death was not in vain, because now the path is clear and Tarkus helped you there.
Thank you, Tarkus. Thank you very much. You very much helped me a lot on my playthrough. Thank you, Tarkus. Oh, you know what's funny? I fell to my death too. I chopped down that chandelier while I was standing above it, on it, and I fell to my death. Well, here's the thing though, is Tarkus, he was affected with the undead curse as well, because he stated that Baranike was also infected with the same curse that Lordran was. So why did Tarkus die? Shouldn't he have respawned? Or did he not have the dark sign on his body? Who knows?
For the sake of the fallen, we carry on.
Why did the freaking stupid painting guardians drag him into the corner? It would have been much scarier. It would have been so much more scarier if they dragged his body into the painted world and we had to fight him alongside Priscilla. If they like turned him into a mindless freak and we had to fight him against Tarkus and Priscilla together, that would have been pretty cool. Wow. We really do have Tarkus to thank for getting us to our initial amazing chest ahead. We really do have Tarkus to thank for getting us through Anor Londo. Amazing.
It's not easy to find the sun in Lordran. And when you do...
Oh, let's go! This is the first HD video we got on this playlist.
Not easy to find the sun in Lordran.
Why are there subtitles in
real.
Chinese?
The age of
or
fire.
Taiwan? Yo, help me. Wait, hold on. Captions. Dude, what the frick? I do not understand this language. I cannot read it. Please help me. Help. Help. There is no English. Oh, wait, there is. Sorry. Sorry.
Fire is ending, and the world is already dark.
Also, Vati with the new mic? Ooh, this man upgraded, baby. Let's go, Vati.
Logan believes that there are no gods, no transcendence, only power. To become a god is simply to find...
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm restarting. This is about Solaire. We need to pay attention.
It's not easy to find the sun in Lordran. And when you do see it, who's to say it's real? The age of fire is ending, and the world is already dark. Logan believes that there are no gods, no transcendence, only power. To become a god is simply to find that power. The lords found their powers amongst the first flame and proclaimed themselves to be gods.
Oh, he just shot Gwyn.
But as the flame fades, the lords must rely on illusions.
He just killed Gwyn!
Instead of power, until new fuel for the flame is found.
Wait, with one arrow? You killed Gwyn with one arrow? Or what is that? Was that an illusory... an illusion?
As Gwyn burns in his tomb, Gwendolyn and Frampt search desperately for someone to replace him, to maintain their age of light a little longer. Solaire reminds me of the legend of Icarus. Icarus
flies too close to the sun and his wings get burned, and he falls to his
is
death.
granted wings and uses them to chase the sun, but he flies too close and falls to his death.
I remember watching this on PBS Kids. There was a story about this. PBS Kids back when I was a youngin'.
Solaire has limitless ambition and strives to obtain the sun as well. But he too runs the risk of flying too close. It's hard to find the sun in Lordran, and the world is already dark. Perhaps Solaire is looking for a new light.
It's not hard to find the sun in Lordran. It's literally in the second zone that you walk to. It's just staring right up at it. That's me being literal. I know it's probably not as literal as that.
There is a prophecy that comes from Solaire's homeland in Astora. A prophecy that sheds light on Solaire's quest.
There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringest the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know.
Solaire, I remember him saying that he was once human, but he chose to become undead to pursue the sun. How do you choose to become an undead? How does that work?
To fulfill the prophecy, you must be two things. You must be undead, and you must escape the asylum.
Which we did! We did it, baby!
Oscar became undead, and traveled to the asylum to become...
So I guess that's Oscar, the guy who frees us in the asylum prison starting area. Oscar's the one who starts us on our journey. I never got to learn his name
become a part of the prophecy.
during my playthrough.
You carry out his legacy. But Oscar was not the only one trying to become a part of the prophecy. Solaire also escaped the asylum.
The way I see it, our fates appear to be intertwined. Both undead, both imprisoned in the asylum, and now we both end up here in a...
I do not remember him saying that. I'm horrible at putting two and two together. I didn't know Solaire came from the undead asylum. That's where everyone comes from if they want to get to the land of Lordran. You have to be undead in the... Even the starting cutscene of the game, when you get to the prison, the narrator is like, the undead are corralled into the north. Where is the northern undead asylum?
A land brimming with hollows. Could that really be mere chance? I hardly think so. I became undead to pursue this.
You see? He said it.
Solaire's quest meant so much that he chose to become undead to fit the prophecy.
Now, I'm probably looking into it too much, but how does one become undead? I don't get that part.
So if you believe that you are the chosen undead, then you and Solaire are on the same path, and your meeting was not chance, but fate. You can choose to believe that everything in your past led you here. But who was Solaire before he became undead and met you?
That's what I want to know.
The Lord of Sunlight had 3 children. One was named Guinevere, who fled her father and Anorlando as the flame continued to fade.
She fled. But did she die?
Another was Gwendolyn, born of the moon and raised as a daughter.
Gwendolyn, born of the moon and raised as a daughter. I beat the game, and there's an achievement on Steam that says defeat Dark Moon Gwendolyn. I never seen this guy. Where the frick? There's 2 bosses I never killed. The frickin' Red Drake on the bridge in the Undead Burg. And then frickin' this guy. Where was he?
Master of Illusion. He maintains
Master of Illusion.
power in Anorlando through an illusion of his sister and a fake son.
A fake son?
The identity of the 3rd child is a mystery.
Does that mean the son that we see in the Undead Burg when we first meet Solaire, what he's staring at, is that also Gwendolyn's fake son? if that's the case, then Solare's objective is all for naught because he's following a false thing. It's not actually there.
Master of illusion, he maintains power in Anor Londo through an illusion of his sister and a fake son.
I was tricked.
The identity of the third child is a mystery. All we know is that he was a god of war, but
we know who that is. We know who that is. But that's crazy. At the time he made this video, they don't know who this is.
his foolishness led to the loss of something invaluable, and he had his god status rescinded. Statues were destroyed, and there are places where it is clear that there have been obvious efforts to remove all trace of him ever existing. But in a land far from Anor Londo,
I love that.
an altar dedicated to sunlight, there is one statue that remains. It's the statue of a woman holding a small child, a child wielding a sunlight straight sword. The same sword as Solaire.
Oh, wait. That's not... No, I thought it's the Nameless King. But I can see that parallel.
Solaire never talks of the past, only of the future, only of finding his son. If he is the son of Gwyn, then he has fallen out of his father's graces.
Dang, how did Vati do that? This boss is tough. How did he do that?
But who is Gwyn to take his powers away? Solaire would have lost his status, and nothing more. Even though his equipment has no special powers, he travels through Lordran with little trouble, reaching Anor Londo, Demon's Ruins, and Lost Islith before you.
Dude, Solaire really is strong. And his armor description states that over and over and over. No special powers. Through his hard work alone did he get to where he needed to go.
It is said that the god of war still watches over his warriors. Solaire crosses between worlds to help you take down your foes.
We never got to summon him because I didn't know where his summon sign was. I do regret not being able to do that.
In the end, it doesn't matter if Solaire is the son of Gwyn. To the world, he's simply a friendly man who helps his comrades when they are in need.
I chose to watch this video or series specifically because I wanted to see what theories everyone had before Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3 came out. See, I have more knowledge about lore than Vati currently does because at the time that Vati made this video, Dark Souls 3 did not exist. But Dark Souls 3 is the first Dark Souls game that I played, or first game from Software that I played. So I know some of the things that he's theorizing about, which is so cool. I just wanted to see that perspective that someone who played this game first and only this game when it came out wanted to see how he puts together all of his thoughts and theories. Interesting.
He is a man who gave everything he had to find something, despite looking like a fool. But after years of searching, his hope turns to despair. And his despair turns to madness.
You an OG, baby. You an OG. This sucks. This sucks, man. He does have the sunlight, the lightning spear throw ability. How does he have that?
Finally, I have my very own son. I am the son. I've done it. I have. Yes, I did.
Screw that little maggot. Whoa now, Solaire. Whoa! Okay, man, you get a little crazy right now, bro. Chill it with the voice acting, Solaire, okay? Okay.
It's over. My sun. It's setting. It's dark. So dark.
Solaire, a man of indomitable will, loses his mind to a creature that looks like the sun, and dies to your blade.
That is so sad.
Time in Lordran is convoluted, and one undead may take a different path. A path that lets Solaire persist a little longer.
I was never I was never able to open that door from that side. I had to go around. How was he able to open up that door? If I opened up that door and killed these sunlight maggots, and then Solaire got to this section of the game, would he still be alive?
Takes you both to the kiln of the first flame, where Solaire can fight for his son.
Wait, are you serious? You can summon Solaire all the way up to the kiln of the first flame? You're kidding me. Also, Gwyn's armor design is so good. He's got such a cool moveset and armor design. Also, this was a game at a time where there was no 60 FPS. So they're playing at like 30 FPS on an Xbox 360. Where I'm here playing at 60 FPS on like a insanely, like amazingly built computer. Get that boy. No! No! Yo. Body, man. What are you doing? Get this man. Dude, do not let Gwyn pimp slap you around. Hey, nicely done. Alright, so what happens to Solaire here?
With Gwyn defeated, Solaire can light a flame of his own and return sunlight to the world. For the fire within Solaire will burn the brightest of all.
Man, I really liked how he did that. I really liked how he changed into Solaire's armor as he's lighting the bonfire. That's really good. Kind of makes the story that Vati theorized come to fruition. Very nice touch. Wow. That's an interesting theory. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, or subscribe. Remember, guys, subscribe to VatiVidya. I'm liking this. I'm doing my part. Wow. What an epic episode.
Those who are afflicted with the dark sign live forever.
Let's do it.
Locked in a constant state of death and revival. But immortality isn't seen as a blessing here. It's labeled a curse, and with good reason. Death is replaced by a form of insanity, a state where humanity is lost and the being becomes hollow. They no longer have the will to retain their humanity, to maintain their body or their mind. Hollowing is a constant process, but a point of no return is reached where humanity cannot be restored. We meet Oscar of Astora just before he reaches that point of no return.
I can feel it coming.
It's so easy to forget Oscar's role, but meeting him is arguably the most important thing that happens to you. Without
I just got chills.
him, you would still be locked away. He goes to the trouble of finding a key to your cell. But why? Well, there's a reason. Thou who art undead art chosen. In thine exodus from the undead asylum, maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. This is a saying passed down through Oscar's family, but it's more than just a saying, it's clearly a prophecy. It says that the undead who escapes the asylum to the land of ancient lords will learn the fate of the undead, something humanity is desperate to know. This prophecy is why Oscar is in the asylum, because if he can leave the asylum, then perhaps he'll be included in the prophecy, and if he's a part of the prophecy, then he may become the one who is supposed to learn the fate of the undead. But he can't be sure that it's him. There are hundreds of other undead locked away in the asylum. So, while he's on the roof, he attempts to let undead out of their cells, hoping to kickstart the prophecy. But there's something else on the roof. The asylum demon guards the prison.
Dude.
Have you ever wondered why you find Oscar dying in a closed cell? There's only one entrance, and that's a hole in the roof. He was smashed into this room by the asylum demon.
Oh.
You are a godsend to come at this moment. I wish to ask something of you.
Oscar tells you the prophecy and hollows with the knowledge that you might be the fated undead to leave the asylum. And he's right, you are. But what if Oscar had lived? What if you had both left the asylum?
What if he did live? Screw that asylum demon. He gets clapped every playthrough just for that sin alone of killing Oscar.
Together.
Please, come quickly. It is your fate. A pleasure to meet you. Sage Framt has spoken to me about you. I am Oscar.
What is this? How did he do this?
Of Astora. I wish to thank you for ringing the bell of awakening. I am preparing to leave. I will follow Sage Framt's instructions, and will seek Anor Londo by way of Sen's fortress. May we each fulfill our respective purposes. I hope that we meet again somewhere. One day.
If you believe the prophecy, it means that either yourself or Oscar could be the chosen undead. Both of you meet the requirements. Both of you left the asylum.
Just kind of like Solaire.
It becomes more clear that you are the chosen undead, not Oscar. You're the one who rang the bells, and you're the one who meets the prophecy more strongly.
I cannot just stay here. I must find my own purpose.
Yo, did he hire a voice actor to do this? He had to have.
Every undead chases a purpose to keep themselves from hollowing. For Oscar, it's different. He's searching for a purpose that's worthy of him, and this obsession is what will spell his tragic end.
Well, how long has it been? Glad to see you safe, but be careful. You must be the same as I, in search of the grave of Sir Artorius. This forest is the territory of a fierce band of thieves. They assault any and all who seek the graves. What if we were to join forces? How about that? If we work together, we may escape the bandits. Does that appeal to you? Very well. Let us keep our wits about us. One can always do with another pair of eyes.
Dude, I'm loving this right now, man.
Things appear to have settled. I was right to partner with you. I will have a short rest here. Feel free to go on ahead.
And then we freaking kill Sif without him. Freaking kill Sif without Oscar.
Both of you make it through the world. You triumph before Oscar.
Not in this story that he's telling right now.
And succeed where it matters. And finally, you make it to the kiln of the first flame, to either replace a dying god, or to finish him off. Whatever path you choose, Oscar chooses the opposite. Driven by a need to be important, He opposes either choice you make, whether you finish off the dying god or leave the first flame to die.
So it was you. I had a feeling. I shall destroy you, as fate has commanded me. Foolish pawn of Darkstalker Karth, and fiendish Dark Lord.
Perhaps you choose to replace this dying god and rekindle the Age of Fire.
I have waited for thee, foolish slave of the gods, and pawn of Framt. I will kill you, and become the true Dark Lord.
Okay, hold on. Is this hidden game dialogue right now, or did he hire a voice actor to do this? Am I watching the proper set of videos right now? If I am, just link me to the proper ones and I'll watch those instead. But I'm still enjoying this. Also, sorry about the chewing. You know, I gotta have my snacks.
Whichever path you choose, Oscar opposes you in his desperation to be included in fate. A search for purpose is all that he has.
Gosh, man, having a purpose is so crucial. Knowing your purpose. I never put it together on my initial playthrough that it makes complete sense. When you're initially freed in the asylum, Oscar is on the roof. Who else is on the roof? The freaking asylum demon. He's crashed through the hole. That's just amazing, and that's amazing environmental storytelling right there. Wow, that's awesome.
The Makoto chooses its owner, but he who harbors self-delusions should at once be warned. The Makoto chooses its owner, but he who harbors self-delusions should...
What is this video about? Shiva the traitor. Shiva's the character who came from the Eastern lands, right?
At once be warned. The Makoto is no sword for the faint of heart.
Many stories have been told about a cursed weapon, forged for a giant in a distant land. Some call it the Makoto, a cursed katana, the Chaos Blade. It is said that where the blade meets skin, it will tear apart into a wound that will never heal. It is a cursed weapon that devours the wielder's life energy, eroding the wielder along with his enemies. Yet despite this, warriors continue to search for the treasured blade, hoping for it to simply pass down through their hands, hoping they can hold on to it longer than the one who came before them.
Wait, is Shiva the ninja or the other dude? Also, we parried the crap out of these losers. Trying to gank me? Not happening. Also, good choice of weapon, using the claymore, baby.
Is it not so that thou art new?
Alvina!
Thou fared well to find me.
I'm
Alvina
Whoa,
of the Dark
chill.
Wood. I command a clan of hunters who track down defilers of the forest graves. What dost thou say? Wilt thou not join us? Oh, yes, I believe we would suit thee well.
The forest hunters protect the graves of the forest. We follow Alvina without question, and reap rewards from the grave robbers who trespass. Hunt and kill as you like. Whoever's fastest gets the prey.
These are the beings from Ulasil. They do not age well.
I've heard all about you. I'm Shiva of the East.
Okay, it was this guy, Shiva of the East.
Captain of the brigade. Ah, did you notice that one? Sharp eyes? He is one of the clan from the East, like myself. Always slinking in the shadows. But he is a tough one. You will see what I mean. Don't worry. It's a good old time, isn't it? Great to have you with us. Good hunting to you.
This is a story quest line that I never did in my initial playthrough, so I want to see what happens here.
The hunters are like a brotherhood, except when it comes to the kill. There are little in the way of rules, and the hunters fight for their own reward.
Perchance hast thou met Shiva? A lad cometh from the far east, strong of arm, now a clan leader of ours. And yet, still I feel that boy hides something. Of that I am certain.
I missed something so cool.
He will use us badly. Yet on guard we must stay.
Most do not stay long within the forest. There are worse things in Lordran than a few grave robbers, and Alvina knows this. However, once you leave the Forest Covenant, you mustn't return. You gain some
Except I
skill
did
in the
that multiple
forest, and it
times.
helps defend yourself against the hostility of the world. But an adventurer needs a good weapon most of all, since steel can never betray you.
Hello again. Strange to meet away from the clan and the forest. But while you are here, how about some equipment? I love collecting these things, but I can only keep so many.
He loves collecting these things. Did he? He probably pillaged all those weapons from the hunts that they had in the forest, where grave robbers would come. He'd kill them and just take their spoils.
And you know, you are a friend. I'll sell them cheap. Have you heard of Chaos Blade? The legendary sword of the ancient undead master Makoto. Its blade a swirling vortex. I heard it's somewhere around here, but I can't find it.
It's all I could ever wish for. I'd do anything to have it.
That's a bad sign right there. You notice how he started fiending for the power.
I feel as though the blade was originally supposed to be found past Blighttown, hidden somewhere out of man's destructive reach, deep within Izalith, untouched by the demons that spawned when the first flame was replicated. The chosen undead finds the Chaos Blade and leaves Blighttown. But you do not go unnoticed.
Why, look at you. Just wait, will you? Your sword. Is it not the Chaos Blade? I've been searching for her for ages. I beg of you, and I promise repay you. Will you give the sword to me? Quite all right. I cannot blame you. The blade is yours, after all. So I will do the honorable thing
and kill you.
Kill you for it.
Don't you run away. Be still, you rat. Taste my blade. Taste it, you devil. What
my
a
God.
Wonderful specimen. Like slicing through butter.
My goodness.
Who'd have thought I'd be the traitor? Sometimes you never know, do you?
Bro, man, that voice actor had so much fun recording those lines. He sounds like he's having a lot of fun right there, man. As he's stabbing you in the back. Oh my gosh.
Don't you ever come round again.
The Black Eye Orb is a tool of revenge. It leads you to the Painted World, where...
No, wait, hold on. You get a Black Eye Orb from this quest as well? Because you get one when Lautrec kills your Firekeeper. So you get one as well when you do this quest too?
Shiva hides with his prize.
Shiva would run away and hide into the Painted World, but that must mean he has access to the doll as well.
Have a look at my sword, for it's the last thing you'll see.
He's definitely going crazy.
Red. The color of blood.
Oh my gosh. They weren't wrong when they said the sword would consume you.
After defeating Shiva, the blade is yours once again. But perhaps it's better that you leave it here, in a place created for creatures and things that have no real place in the outside world.
Probably for the best.
Lest it be discovered again.
Oh boy, who discovers it? Oh. Dang, we missed out on something really freaking cool. Wow. Freaking Shiva the traitor, you butt cheek. How dare you? I like that though.
If there's one thing to remember, it's this. Fire fades, and it's inevitable and natural for the world to return to dark. The future is dark, but it was not always this way. Let's go back to where there was a flame. The hero has made it to the kiln, where the first flame was found, thrived, faded, and was kindled again. The hero descends to kill the god who kindled that flame. This god is a shell now, a husk. He's lost his kingdom, his knights, his wife, children, and friends. But even with nothing left, he sacrificed himself to keep the dark at bay. This is the story of a man who fought against the inevitable.
We need some more Gwyn lore, Daddy. Vati. Give it to us. Spoon feed it to us.
In the beginning, there were two planes of existence. There was the above and the below. Above was grey, with dragons who had existed forever.
This scenery kind of looks like Ash Lake in a way. And then when you're in Ash Lake, if you look above, I think I remember reading on my playthrough that there's some comments saying that the world, there's different worlds that exist on top of the hollowed trees. I forgot about that.
Nothing changed, nothing progressed, and nothing lived or died. I think of the below as dark, although it probably was nothing of the sort. How can darkness exist without light? But that was about to change, because when the flame came, it created disparity. Now there was light and dark, and the light illuminated the creatures who were hiding. These creatures emerged to inspect the flame, and these were the ones who would become known as giants.
What?
For within the flame was great power, and 4 giants claimed this power. They claimed it, and it shaped them. Nito came to embody death, for within the flame
We never heard lore about the furtive pygmy. Who is the furtive pygmy?
was great power, and 4 giants claimed this power. They claimed it, and it shaped them. Nito came to embody death. The Witch of Izalith represented life. Lord Gwyn stood for the light, and the pygmy kept his dark soul a secret. Gwyn decreed that the flame was more powerful than the grey existence up above, and the giants declared war on the dragons to claim the pygmy.
Okay. This whole time. Sorry, man. These corn nuts are so good. I'm so sorry. This whole time I've been trying to like figure out what is Gwyn's like reason for starting the fight with the dragons in the first place. And I guess this is one of the reasons. Oh, frick.
Kept his dark soul a secret.
Also, who is the furtive pygmy? He kept his dark soul a secret.
Gwyn decreed that the flame was more powerful than the grey existence up above, and the giants declared war on the dragons to claim the surface. Alas, the dragons were immortal, and many knights of Gwyn fell, but there was one dragon who betrayed his own. Seath the Scaleless, born without the stone scales of immortality, told the dragon's weakness to Gwyn.
Oh my gosh. I never put it together. The dragons were ancient beings, but Seath was the only one born without the ability of immortality. No wonder his quest. No wonder he betrayed the dragons. Oh my gosh.
The secret to their immortality, and the lightning was their weakness. So Gwyn and his knights fashioned bolts of lightning to peel apart their stone scales. Nito unleashed disease on their exposed flesh, and the Witch of Izalith and her followers used fire sorceries to burn their homes, the arch trees.
Oh, hence Ash Lake. Oh, shoot.
To ash. And the
Because guess what, man? That whole place just got burned down. And so it is. Ash seeketh embers.
Dragons.
That's just a little,
no more.
little something right there.
And so the Age of Fire was born, and the giants began their own story. But since this is a story about light, it is also a story about dark. For it is inevitable that one day the flame will fade, and only dark will remain. Seath was granted 3 rewards. He received a piece of Gwyn's Lord Soul, a dukedom in Gwyn's kingdom, and his own research facility to discover immortality. Something
the
he
Duke
never would have had
Archives.
with the dragons around. The Age of Fire had changed the shape of the world. Gwyn's kingdom grew during the Age of Fire, and the lands outside assumedly looked to Lordran as their capital city. Anor Londo was built close to the sun, and eventually smaller towns and cities grew to surround it. The giants became the royalty and the gods, and humanity spread, worshipping those more powerful than them. Gwyn himself had a wife whose name is not known, and by her he had 3 children.
I still don't know the
His
name of
firstborn
that.
was the god of war, who formed the warriors of sunlight. However, he lost the annals, which were historical records. Gwyn decreed that his son would share the same fate, and all record of the firstborn was stripped from the land.
Oh, I've been wondering what the annals are this whole time. So it's just pieces of history.
Gwyn's second-born, Guinevere, was well loved, with her own statues and covenant the princess guard. The third of birth was Gwyndolin, who was born frail and deformed. He was ready.
That is a very cool character design.
As a daughter, since he was proficient at moonlight magic, which is considered a female trait. His existence was hidden, and his covenant, the Blade of the Dark Moons, hunt down sinners and protect the illusion of power in Anor Londo. For hundreds of years, the lords prospered, but everything ends.
Wow.
Locked away in his archives, Seath is desperately searching for the secret to immortality. The Six-Eyed Channelers read for him and search the world for test subjects. These test subjects are locked away in crystal golems for transportation back to the archives.
Oh, it makes... Wow, it makes sense why when you kill that golden golem down there right next to the crystal cave, Zeeglin comes out of it. She got captured by one of those 6 channelers.
They become the subject of his experiments. At the base of the prison, there are Pisakas, twisted monsters created from captured maidens.
This is a very sad part of the story.
If you listen carefully, you can hear them crying.
I feel bad that I never took the time to, like, process what was happening when I first came down here.
At some point, the knowledge in the archives sends Seath mad. It's impossible to know whether he was insane before or after his experiments on the maidens, but one way or another, Gwyn turns a blind eye to the happenings in the archives. Perhaps it was this that led to the rebellion against the gods.
I can see why, man. That's freaking crazy.
The dragons, Lord Gwyn had a friend and compatriot named Havel the Rock, who was the sworn enemy of magic and Seath the Scaleless. After the war, Gwyn granted Seath dukedom and a part of his own soul.
That must have pissed Havel off.
Perhaps Havel was bitter at Gwyn's preference for Seath, since he started to collect items capable of killing the gods. Hidden in his basement in Anor Londo.
No way. Havel had his own room in Anor Londo? Makes sense because we find his armor down there.
There is an occult club. Items of the occult can kill the gods and are rightly feared. Havel was also a bishop of the church, who knew the whereabouts of the Dark Ember. Lastly, the effigy shield states that there was once an ill-fated plot to destroy the gods. Ill-fated because the attempt failed. Among the royalty, there are rumors of a hero locked away in a stone cell by a dear friend. They say he was locked away for his own good, which led many to believe that the man inside had gone hollow. Havel helped Gwyn win his throne, but met with the fate of the undead and was kept in a cell so he could not harm others. That's what they would have you believe. But what if Gwyn learnt of Havel's plan to kill the gods? Perhaps Havel was not hollow when he was locked away. Perhaps he was locked away for the good of the realm, and left to hollow in the middle of an area overrun by hollows.
Oh my gosh. That is such a sad fate. That is such a sad fate for Havel. That's insane.
Gwyn would have locked his friend away for the greater good, but was it the right thing to do? This marks the peak of the Age of Fire, and the darkness is looming.
He was in there for so long.
Soon Gwyn will need all the friends he can get.
Wasn't he in there for like a millennium then? Like 1,000 years? Because is that how long the Age of Fire lasted? Until we actually get to Lordran? Dude, that is tragic. Not gonna lie, man. Gwyn, I see him both as a good guy and kind of a bad guy.
Soon, I will be consumed by them, by the dark.
The dark is in every human.
Thou art strong, human. Surely thine kind are more than pure dark.
But do humans have light and dark within them? Even in his last moments, Artorius thought so.
I beg of the spread of the abyss must be stopped.
The furtive pygmy was the first human. It claimed the dark soul.
Are you wait?
The spread of the abyss must be stopped.
The furtive pygmy was the first human. It claimed the dark soul and waited for the fire to subside.
No freaking way.
While the other souls grew weaker, the dark soul grew stronger. The Lord Souls of light and dark seemed to be in counterbalance to one another. While Gwyn fathered...
Don't tell me the furtive pygmy is freaking Manus, the father of the abyss. Do not tell me that right now. Do not tell me that.
At the Age of Fire and set up his kingdom, the pygmy shattered the dark soul and fathered humanity. This mysterious black sprite was the powerful life force of humans, driving them to love, hate, create, and destroy. The most pure-hearted humans were able to create more humanity within themselves. The dark soul is unique in that it can grow and spread through humans. By the time the furtive pygmy was killed, it was already too late. The dark soul had already been split, and
oh, never mind.
It continued to split and grow like a disease.
No one... The furtive pygmy was down in the chasm, or was in the chasm of the abyss, or what we know to be the chasm of the abyss. That makes sense why there's so many humanity just roaming around there.
And as the darkness grew, the flames did fade, and Gwyn's kingdom began to fall. With the fading flame came the rising dark, and those who would see it grow stronger. The dragons and the giants were not the only things in the Age of Ancients. From the stone dragons came drakes, hydras, and primordial serpents. You have to wonder at how much influence the serpents have had, because all throughout the ages, the serpents have always achieved their desires at the expense of others. We know of one serpent, Karth, who hides in the shadows to see the shadows grow.
We're doing that on a New Game Plus run, man. I gotta meet Koth.
It was the manipulations of such a serpent that led to an upturned grave, and the doom of Ulasil.
Oh wow, there's a freaking dead body imprint right there.
In the shadows to see the shadows grow. It was the manipulations of such a serpent that led to an upturned grave, and the doom of Ulasil.
Believe it or not, Ulasil has brought the abyss upon itself.
Yep.
Fooled by that toothy serpent.
Yes, dude. That's crazy to see. Like full circle like that.
Turned the grave of primeval man and incited his ornery wrath. What could they have been thinking?
Manus, the father of the abyss, primeval human and once the furtive...
Oh! I was right! No freaking way. Manus, father of the abyss, was once the furtive pygmy. Are you kidding me? For some reason, I was very drawn to the furtive pygmy in the initial cutscene. I'm like, who is that guy, man?
Pygmy.
Because, like, if you read Manus's soul, like, how could someone from the abyss have the item description of the soul be like a very gentle clump of humanity? You know what I mean? And then apparently I think something about being gentle and kind is what spawns more humanity and stuff like that. I could be completely wrong on that.
Unleashed the wrath of the dark upon Ulasil, corrupting and transforming its denizens into monsters.
Knight Artorius came to stop this, but such a hero has nary a murmur of dark. Without doubt he will be swallowed by the abyss, overcome by its utter blackness. Indeed,
oh my gosh.
The abyss may be unstoppable.
That is crazy.
And Artorius was slain, but a hero from a time distant yet near killed the primeval human in his name and ended its rampage. But
that was us, baby.
Arth simply moved on to his next target. Gwyn split his own soul and handed it to the 4 kings who ruled over New Londo. It was a reward for their foresight, but the kings only wanted more power.
Long ago, the 4 kings were powerful men. Only their hearts were weak. When an evil serpent dangled the art of life drain before them, they were unable to resist and became pawns of evil.
And then they had to freaking drown the whole city of New Londo, killing the whole town just to keep those evil men at bay.
Gwyn had already seen what happened in Ulasil. The spread of the abyss had to be contained wherever it was found. He flooded New Londo in an attempt to seal the darkness and the kings. It was around this time that the other gods started to panic. The goddesses Fina and Velka had already been forcibly exiled by Seath, and Gwyn's own daughter Guinevere was to follow. She fled with the flame god, Flan, and abandoned her father. Meanwhile, the Witch of Izalith was working on a plan. She was attempting to duplicate the first flame using her own magic and her Lord Soul. Perhaps this could fight off the gathering dark. But this plan did not work. In fact, it backfired, engulfing the witch, her sisters, and the city of Izalith. Her soul of life became twisted, creating malformed, demonic, chaotic life. And the world saw its first demons.
Oh
my god. The Silver Knights of
gosh.
Gwyn still remained from the war against the dragons, and they were ordered to fight against the Chaos Demons. Despite the bravery of the knights, they were repelled by the bed of chaos. The Silver Knights retreated to Gwyn with armor blackened and charred from their journey to Izalith.
Oh, that is so cool. Oh, man, it's so much information to take. It is so much information to take. Oh my gosh, that's freaking amazing.
They had failed. Gwyn's downfall is absolute. He's lost his kingdom, his knights, his wife, children, and friends. For the stronger the light, the thicker the shadows fall. There are no happy endings in Lordran.
No.
Even if you do no wrong, tragedy finds you.
Ain't that the truth?
For the light in a dark place. Maybe you're fighting to keep your sister alive. Whether you're adventuring for the sake of adventure, or risking your life for your lord, it will do no good. But despite futility, we do these things anyway. By fighting against the inevitable, we carve meaning from meaninglessness.
Hope.
Gwyn travels to the kiln with his remaining knights, and sacrifices himself as fuel for the first flame, just so it can burn a little longer for the living. The dark will eventually overcome the fading flame, but not without a fight.
Not without a fight. The curse of the undead originates when Gwyn links the flame, granting some humans eternal life until they lose their humanity. Okay. The black armor of the Silver Knights becomes warped and twisted by the force of the rekindled flame, and they develop horns and a demonic appearance. Their disembodied spirits remain inside the armor. I was just about to mention that of that armor description. When you kill the Black Knights in the kiln of the first flame. Wow. Fascinating. The chosen undead awakens in a cell many years later. But he will fight against the dark or accept it as the age of man. Ah.
In the beginning, there was no life or death, no light or dark.
Holy crap, we got a lot more videos. I'll try to stop pausing as much.
There was, however, the above and the below. Above, where the everlasting dragons ruled, and below, where there were humanoid beings that would one day become humans, giants, and lords. Below, fire was born, and some beings found power within these flames and took it for themselves. Gwyn could be called a Lord of Light, Nito a Lord of Death, and the Witch of Izalith a Lord of Life. These souls were the disparity. They represented black and white, where everything else was grey before. And so they cast away the grey, and started an age of light and dark, life and death. There is one that I haven't mentioned.
You gotta, like, argue, or think about, like, which is better? Which is better? Having light and dark, or just grey for eternity? If it weren't for Gwyn, or just the fire appearing out of nowhere, and then if it weren't for Gwyn, like linking the fire or starting it, then nothing would have like any meaning, really. If you just, I don't know really what I'm trying to say here, but it's kind of like a philosophical question that you have to ponder.
Who came after the other three lords? The furtive pygmy found the dark soul within the flames, and fathered humanity. The pygmy was content to wait, splitting and spreading his soul while the other lords changed the world. There are dynamics that exist between the souls. You can't have one without the other. Gwyn's Age of Fire is built around the first flame, which was linked to bonfires and spread throughout the world. However, eventually, even this fire began to fade. It was realized that humanity, the little black sprite in every human, could feed the fire. So Gwyn commanded his children to shepherd the humans. Maybe there's a reason the Dark Soul was found after the first three. Maybe it was the fuel. You already know what happens next. The grey dragons were cast aside, and Gwyn began an age of fire. When the flame started to fade, the Witch of Izalith attempted to create a new flame with her life soul, but it spiraled out of control and demons were created. Then out of nowhere, a curse appeared, a kind of disease that links humans to the bonfires, causing some to become undying. Instead of death, there is hollowing, and to reverse the hollowing, one has to offer humanity to the flames. Convenient, isn't it? Some even whisper that the curse was designed by the lords, to keep the humanity of the undead linked to the bonfires.
And thus, forever endless cycle of the Age of Fire. Gwyn's ultimate purpose.
Humanity they donate, the greater the fire grows, and the undead are drawn to the flame, fated to be consumed over and over again until only a hollow husk is left. For the purpose of shepherding the humans.
It really is a curse. Okay, when you view it that way, it kind of really is a curse, as it's actually called. No wonder they call it a curse.
The church, the Way of White, was formed. An influential covenant devoted to serving the gods. They condemn the undead as a plague. The cleric knights of Lloyd are praised for their undead hunts, using Lloyd's talismans to prevent the undead from recovering, allowing the knights to kill with impunity.
That's kind of savage. That is savage, man.
Afraid of the threat that the Dark Souls pose, Gwyn effectively sets humanity against itself. Undead are caught and shipped to the asylum to await the end of the world. So what happens when a member of the church becomes an accursed undead? When this happens, it isn't seen as a curse. It couldn't be. How could such a thing happen to a member of the church? No.
They hide the truth.
No, becoming an undead Way of White member means you are blessed.
What?
It means you must devote yourself to a pilgrimage in service of the Way of White.
Never mind, now it's way off.
Something that gets you out of the church, but still serves the church's purpose. Undead clerics are given a quest for kindling, the art of feeding bonfires with humanity. Is there humanity hidden within the catacombs? Maybe, but it's much more likely that they are searching for a secret rite of kindling, a method of feeding bonfires with humanity that was stolen from an ally of Gwyn. And this brings us to Nito, who was rumoured to hold the rite of kindling until it was stolen by Pinwheel.
Frickin' Pinwheel.
Nito is a strange entity. Unlike the other lords, he seems to only have one motive. Above all else, we see his desire to spread death. He doesn't concern himself with the politics of the outside world, except for once when he brought death to the undying. The everlasting dragons had their stone scales ripped apart by Gwyn, and Nito delivered the death blow. But
wow! Oh! I just figured out what the
except for once when he brought death to the undying.
I'm like,
the everlasting.
What the heck is this? Like, what is he decaying right here? It's a freaking dragon neck.
Had their stone scales.
It's a dragon tail. Oh, there! If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you can kind of see a claw right there.
And Nito delivered the death blow. But why did he do this? Well, disparity is in Nito's best interests, because if life exists, so too must death. After the successful alliance with Gwyn, Nito gained dominion over the dead and the catacombs, with a vast army of dead servants defending his tomb, and another army of Gravelord servants actively spreading death to others through the eyes of death. Nito seems content to wait in the darkest depths of the catacombs, slowly growing his army of the dead. Like all the other Lord Souls, his power is distributed among his servants. But is there nothing more to Nito? The first undead cleric was Leroy. He was given a glorified set of armor and the most powerful relics the church possessed. In a grand gesture, he was sent into the catacombs to retrieve Kindling. You fight with him to kill Pinwheel, and the mission is successful. You retrieve the right from the catacombs.
I didn't know I did not see that summon sign.
Which was stolen from Nito. But there's more. Attempt to kill Nito, and Leroy will defend him. Leroy will fight against you.
I didn't. Okay. What? Leroy was a double spy.
Assume then that Nito is important to the Way of White. Perhaps his purpose of spreading death is what Gwyn wants. It makes sense. Spread death, and the undead have to burn you.
It's a cycle. You need to have death in order for humanity to it's a cycle of life and death here.
Humanity to feed the bonfires and keep themselves human. Feed the bonfires, and Gwyn's Age of Fire can last a little longer. The real tragedy here is the deceit. We are all in the dark. Humanity has no idea what caused the undead curse, but it's spreading. Entire lands are becoming infected with the mysterious dark sign, which keeps undead reliant on the bonfires, unable to die. No one knows where it originated, no one knows who created it, or if there is even a who behind it. All we do know is that you could be a regular human before you turned undead.
Yeah.
You'd be unable to die.
Like in Solare's case.
But unable to stop deteriorating, becoming more and more hollow with every death. Suddenly, you're a threat to those around you. The Way of White busies themselves with purging the undead from the world, but they don't know if the curses are...
Imagine getting killed by Petrus, the guy who did nothing the whole game. Who just stood in one location, gave you a rusted iron coin, called it a day. Imagine dying by this fat lard. Why am I so aggressive? It's NPC. I'm just joking.
Threat. They don't know how it came about, or if they're just being sent into the catacombs to die. And you're being led by serpents who tell you different things, encouraged to kill all of the lords in your path, regardless of whether they're in your way. Just so you can get enough souls to satiate the Lord Vessel, in the hope that killing Gwyn will give you answers. There are no answers, yet. At the core of everything is the curse.
The focus of the first game is humanity. Oh, the focus of the second is curse. Director. Well, we'll figure out what that means when I actually get to play Dark Souls 2 pretty soon. Like the video, subscribe for weekly content. Yeah, guys, subscribe to Vati Vidya.
We see the struggle of...
Okay, which one? Nito and the curse, the undead curse. Okay, now let's look at Artorias, everyone's favorite lore in Dark Souls 1. And my favorite.
Fire, 3 powerful souls were claimed by those who came from the dark. The first was claimed by Nito, first of the dead. The second went to the witch who fell to the flame. And the last went to Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight. But there was a 4th soul, discovered afterward and hidden from the lords. The Dark Soul. And so, the first human was furtive, and kept his soul a secret. Lord Gwyn used his Lord Soul to usher in an age of fire and light, a appointing 4 trusted knights to defend the realm. There was Slayer Ornstein, captain of the guard.
That is such cool artwork.
Unmatched with a great bow.
Oh, that cutscene filled me with everything. Like, it made me want to go freaking slay some dragons, man.
Baron the assassin, who laid waste to Gwyn's enemies. And Artorias, the Abyss Walker.
Dude, Artorias is... I love Artorias so much.
But in time, the flame began to fade. The age of the lords was ending, and the dark age of men was to begin.
The 4 kings were powerful men. Only their hearts were weak. When an evil serpent dangled the art of life drain before them.
I wonder if when, instead of talking to Frampt, you put the Lord Vessel in the Abyss, and you talk with Kayeth, he'll give you Life Drain as an item.
They were unable
or a spell.
And became pawns of evil.
The serpent in question
Whoa.
was Karth, who tempted the kings with the ability to drain humanity as a reward for their service. This is the art of Life Drain. Karth's ultimate goal seems to be to return all humanity to the Abyss, as every fragment of humanity is a piece of the mighty Dark Soul. The Knights of New Londo were transformed into Dark Wraiths, beings that plagued the citizens of the city for humanity, so that it may be returned to the Abyss.
That's... oh my gosh. The Knights of New Londo were transformed into Dark Wraiths, beings that plague the citizens of the city for humanity. That sucks.
Are the enemies of man, and any living thing that has a soul. They were born in New Londo, and that is where they perished. The entire city was sacrificed to contain them.
Dang.
That is how great a threat they were.
And then we free everything, and then we see a bunch of dead bodies at the front of this gate. Those Dark Wraiths killed so many people, and I bet so many others drowned as well. I think New Londo is probably one of the most depressing areas in the game. And just thinking back to it, there's a ghost when you go, before you talk to the dude in the red cloth, I don't even remember his name, but there's a ghost that's holding on to her baby. When you walk up to her, she has red eyes and she like screams.
The first flame continues to fade, and with the darkness looming, the deities of Anor Londo begin to leave the doomed kingdom.
But not Artorias.
Breaks out again, this time in Orlasil. With time running out, Lord Gwyn's final command is for Artorias to halt the inevitable spread of the Abyss, and to rescue Princess Dusk.
Artorias, my man.
The dark, Lord Gwyn kindles the first flame with his own soul, artificially extending his age of fire. And so, hundreds of years before the birth of the chosen undead, Knight Artorias and Sif meet the threat building in Orlasil. However, they do not succeed.
Yeah, they friggin' ran in the mana, so they got corrupted by the Abyss.
But such a hero has nary a murmur of dark.
Nary.
He will be swallowed by the Abyss, overcome by its utter blackness.
The dialogue in this game is just phenomenal, man. The way the characters speak, the voice actors who voice all the dialogue, it's so good. Everything about this game is just so good.
Indeed, the Abyss may be unstoppable.
This was such a fun boss fight.
Thine ear as somewhat peculiar, but long ago, in my homeland of Orlasil, I was beset by a creature from the Abyss. I would have perished then, were it not for the great knight Artorias.
That creature must have been Manus.
I saw little of what transpired, for mine senses were already fled, but even still, there was something about Artorias, a certain balance of the humors, that quite perfectly fits your semblance.
Oh.
Could it be that?
Oh, I didn't notice. Listen to the way he screams before he dies. Wow, that is such a good scream of death.
Fits your semblance. Heavens, could it be that?
Oh, wow, that is good stuff right there.
So, 'tis thou who rescueth me.
Beset by the abyss, the final act of Artorias was to protect his companion. He shielded Sif with the power of his great shield, for his arm was broken and he could no longer bear the burden. Soon after, the spread of the abyss was halted and the deeds of a human were accredited to Artorias, the hero who gave his life to repel the abyss. Within this glimpse of the abyss lies a tormented soul, a savior turned demon, hidden from the eyes of his lord and comrades. As if only for his soul to find peace at long last, a warrior came.
Us.
A hero of a time long distant yet near. The warrior fought against Artorias, severing his bonds with the darkness so that his honor may remain intact.
That was us, man. You read that in the lore description when you play the game, but you're like, who is that hero? Who is that person that keeps Artorias' honor intact? And it's us. We are the unknown hero that keep his honor intact. But here's like a thing I'm also confused about. Because when you talk with Elizabeth, when you go start the area, or after you kill Artorias, she says your legend will not be told. You will remain unknown for all of history. And then, if you save Sif before you fight Sif in the present, apparently there's a secret cutscene where he recognizes you. How is that the case if Elizabeth keeps your legend a secret? Maybe wolves just have a sense of smell that just remains, like they kind of just, your smell imprints on them and they remember you based off that. Like, how does Sif remember you if Elizabeth keeps your tale a secret? Maybe she didn't know about Sif or something like that.
Living with the knowledge that his master saved him with his last uncorrupted breath. Watching him become a husk, only capable of tormented screams. He keeps the ring of Artorias, knowing that many will try to traverse the abyss, and defends his master's grave.
Sif, you are such a good wolf.
To him years later for the Abyss Walker ring that debilitated his friend. He is trying to protect you.
Oh, wait, no! This is the secret cutscene! Dang it! Dang it! Oh, that sucks. I kind of wanted to experience that in-game. Frick! You know, even when you beat a Dark Souls game, you still kind of gotta worry about spoilers. Gosh dang it! I wanted to experience that cutscene for the first time by myself. Gosh dang it, man! Oh, that sucks. Frick me.
Only capable of tormented screams. He keeps the ring of Artorias, knowing that many will try to traverse the abyss, and defends his master's grave. Imagine what he is feeling when you come to him years later for the Abyss Walker ring that debilitated his friend. He is trying to protect you. One of you will have to die, because Sif will not give you the
He realizes.
willingly. Maybe in death, he can find his friend Artorias again.
Oh my gosh, dude, this cutscene is so sad. How I wish I could experience that by myself while playing the game. Oh. That is so sad, man. Oh. I'm like, oh. That cutscene is so emotional.
The gate, the old fortress.
Oh. Oh. We're straight on to Ziegmeyer.
I'm prepared for the worst.
Just straight on to the next, man. This is like watching a movie. I'm watching a movie.
Have you seen my father? You wouldn't miss him. Tell him that Zieglind is on her way. Oh, just stay put and keep out of trouble.
Perish, foul creatures! We can overcome this together. Our fates do seem entwined, don't they? Perhaps this, too, is the will of Lord Gwyn. You seem to help me at every turn. This Knight of Katarina expresses his deepest gratitude.
Gratitude.
Now I have no regrets. I shall depart for my final adventure. Wherever you go, may you be safe. You are a true hero, to be sure.
I love Ziegmer.
Come. I am Ziegmeyer of Katarina, and you shall feel my wrath!
Dude, Vadividya has such a good storytelling method. Like, he's got an eye for this stuff.
They begin to hollow. Ziegmeyer is an adventurer who prides himself on his bravery. His ability to progress and explore is what keeps him from hollowing. The name Ziegmeyer means victory. Success is at the core of who he is.
Adventuring is my life. I'm prepared for the worst.
It makes sense. Adventuring is my life. I'm prepared for the worst.
The chosen undead saves Ziegmeyer time and time again. The man learns that he only has to wait for his problems to be solved. So, in helping Ziegmeyer, you take everything from him. And an undead who loses everything
becomes hollow. Where I know it's our fault, he becomes hollow.
Or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. This is quite a fix. We'll need another 3, no, maybe 5 bodies. Quite a fix indeed. By my knighthood, I'm ashamed to ask, but can you spare a few scraps of moss?
As you save Ziegmeyer, you are draining his belief in himself. Every time you help him, he becomes more and more hollow. That is, until he decides to make a final stand. He sacrifices himself to repay his friend, but you take that victory from him as well.
It's because we don't want him to die.
Friend, I have an idea, a good one, really. I will rush those dire fiends, and you can slip away in the confusion. Please, friend, I owe you much more than this. By the honor of the Knights of Katarina, allow me to assist you. And now, I go. Don't be slow.
Ah, this is so sad, man. We jump in there because we want to save him.
Come on! Over here, you fiends! Perish, foul creatures! I am Ziegmeyer of Katarina, and you shall feel my wrath!
If you allow Ziegmeyer to sacrifice himself while you escape, then he will die with his honor intact.
I think that's the best thing for us to do.
The only way for him to survive is if you shame him and save his life again.
And then he just dies afterwards.
But you, didn't you get away? Well, you saved me once again. Oh, thank goodness. I'm exhausted.
This is the last time you'll see Ziegmeyer alive.
In the remastered version, he just dies.
Have you seen my father? You wouldn't miss him. A suit of armor just like mine.
Oh, dude, imagine how sad you would be to go on a quest to find your father, only to like see him in his armor, think that he is still present and there. You go in for a warm embrace, and he's just hollow. Oh, poor Zieglind. Holy crap, that is such a sad thought. That reminds me of Gears of War 2. If you haven't played Gears of War, the Gears series, I highly suggest you do. But Dom, in the game, Dom has a wife, and his wife gets captured by the Locust. And one of the missions of the game is you go into the heart of the Locust Hive, and the objective is you're trying to, figure out what's happening down there. But also, like, a side objective of that is Dom is trying to find his wife. So you go around and you look at these data things, and he finds his wife. And then, like, once he finally gets there, he's so happy to see her. And then once he hugs her, like she looks normal. And then you give her a hug. And then you realize what has become of her. Like, she is no longer who she used to be. She was like a slave of the locust, put to work, and Dom literally had to, like, kill his own wife. Like, that's how I can see the story going for Sieglinde, where she's searching for her father. And the father, if she finds Siegmeyer, if you get away in the confusion, I imagine he goes hollow after that. And then I imagine Sieglinde finds her father and he's hollowed out. And it's just like such a tragic thing. Like, someone you care so deeply for, just like going off the deep end, or, you know, passing away, or becoming someone, like becoming something that's not, like, I don't know. It's just sad to think about.
Sieglinde is the daughter of Siegmeyer. She risks the perils of Lordran to tell her father his wife's dying words.
My daughter risked life and limb just to find me, to deliver her mother's last words. And the poor girl's not even undead. Heavens.
My gosh.
I never asked her to do that.
It would seem that Siegmeyer abandoned his daughter and wife for a life of adventuring.
Kinda scummy.
It is clear that Siegmeyer cares for his daughter and her for him, but something has happened in their past that led to them being kept apart. After hearing his wife's dying words from the daughter who risked her life, he goes on his final, reckless adventure.
What are those words? What is that dialogue? I need to hear it.
Hollowing is a slow process, with the undead suffering many deaths before they hollow to a point of no return. The name Sieglinde means gentle battle. I believe Sieglinde has killed her father before, but only out of necessity.
What? Oh, okay, never mind.
I'll just have to kill him again.
I keep on forgetting that this is Dark Souls, and people who die get to come back to life. Like, it's no freaking, it's like a normal Tuesday, normal Monday, start of the week day activities, you know? Start of the day, week activities. Monday, start of the day, week activities. Here I'm thinking, dang it, man, shoot. I thought Sieglinde would be, like, better than that. Just kill your own father. That's kind of off the deep end right there, Sieglinde. Not who I thought. Your voice is kind of deceivingly innocent.
Siegmeyer hollows completely at the end of his adventure.
In Ash Lake? Don't tell me this happens.
Now I see. You are one of the bad ones. Then there's only one thing to do with you.
She probably is hurting having to do this. Like, she's just resolving herself to finish the job, you know? And honestly, it's probably for the best that you kill a hollowed out person so they don't ever come back. Unless they do come back. I think they do come back, but I'm not sure. She is having to resolve her emotion.
How can this be?
Right here.
Father.
Heavens, my dear little Lynn.
Oh, that's sad. That is so sad. Oh, look at that, man. And then we got the freaking Inception music playing right now.
Meets his end in Ash Lake.
I'm gonna get copyright struck, but I don't freaking care.
You can do to stop it.
That is so freaking sad, man.
My father, all hollow now, has been subdued. He will cause no more trouble. It's finally over.
What about you, though?
Dear father.
Ah, it's the music that's getting me. Oh. I tried to only produce quality content. Oh. Okay, that one got me a little bit teary-eyed. You jerk, you freaking jerk, Vati. You knew I would cry. You knew what you were doing when you cooked up this video, you jerk. Alright, on to the Sisters of Chaos.
Life and light. But these things cannot exist alone, so there was also disparity. Cold, death, and dark. Humans were born from the dark, but we are drawn towards the light. We are warmed by fire, but this fire we cannot touch. For those whose fascination with fire persists, learn to hold it in their own hand. Pyromancy is born from this adoration of fire. But you must remember one thing.
Always fear the flame, lest you be devoured by it and lose yourself.
Quaylana had
to see that happen again.
Quaylana had some wise words about the flame that I was not expecting. I thought she would be crazy about the fire, but that's like the initial. When you hear the word Sisters of Chaos, you assume they're chaotic and crazy, but she was actually quite reserved and actually feared the fire. Not at all what I was expecting when I first played, or when I did my playthrough.
The dark remains. But what if another flame was born? It could be a replica of the first to ward off the darkness. The Witch of Izalith was one of Lord Gwyn's last hopes.
I get it.
The first flame, then the god's power would never fade.
She tried to do something quite noble. If it worked, imagine what the world would be like, where you just have an infinite flame. But that we don't know what that would cause later down the road, because apparently, like, they didn't initially think the Age of Fire would be a bad thing, at least in my eyes.
I have a favor to ask. My mother,
Killer,
the Witch of Izalith, was one of the primeval lords. Her power came from the soul that she found near the first flame. She focused this power to light a flame of...
That's a dog booty boss fight, I'm telling you right now. Chaos, the bed of chaos, dog booty.
Her own.
But the DLC makes up for it. Artorias and Manus make up for it. And Calamite. Don't forget Calamite.
But she failed to control it. The flame of chaos engulfed Mother and my sisters and molded them into deformed creatures.
Freaking Qualag and her sister.
Lies the ruins of the legendary city of Izalith.
Who is talking right now?
The molten giant watches over the flame of chaos. Our fair lady and Mistress Qualag fled from the ruins. I do not know the details, and I do not...
Oh, this is the guy who, like, serves the sister who cannot speak underneath. That's like, I don't know his name, but he's got the eggs inside of him.
When the Witch of Izalith attempted to create the first flame, something went wrong. She created a bed of life, which would become the source of all demons. There were originally 7 daughters of chaos. The witch and 2 sisters were bound to the bed of chaos. The witch is trapped inside, and her 2 sisters became the orbs beside her.
Oh. So we basically, well, English tongue, you gonna work? We basically murder Quaylana's whole family. and she's okay with it, because I don't think this life is a life worth living, being forever a part of the bed of chaos. It's probably not an enjoyable experience.
Qualag and the fair lady were bound to giant spiders. One sister was corrupted, and
Yep, I knew that was one of the sisters.
guards her mother. Another sister was sacrificed and is watched by her brother.
You also let me know that the charred ring was initially ceaseless discharge. Like, ceaseless discharge was the original owner of the orange charred ring.
Who became a being of ceaseless discharge. Only Quilana remains.
It makes sense, though, why he's not hostile until you pick up his sister's armor at the altar, because he's guarding it, because he cares for his sister, and then you just steal it from him, and then you just kill him. It's kind of sad.
I'm here.
Does that mean the demon centipede is also a son of the Witch of Izalith? Also, you basically kill Quaylana's whole family.
But my mother and sisters have been in anguish since. I beseech you.
But they were in anguish, so she knows they're in pain, and she does not have the courage to do it herself. So she's glad she's glad she meets us.
Free mother and my sisters from the flame of chaos.
But why doesn't Quaylana mention her brothers?
I cannot do it myself. I lack the strength and the bravery. But you, I realize what I am asking. But please, free their poor souls.
Quelag, a deformed daughter of Izalith. She escaped with her sister, and they fashioned a home at the base of Blighttown. The denizens of Blighttown were chosen as servants and food. But the fair lady felt for the suffering of her disfigured followers and sucked out their blight pus.
Okay, I didn't realize like it was kind of like a mutual act of, service where she cured them of the blight, but then she gets to plant her eggs inside them. I don't know which would the lesser of two evils, let's just call it that saying. Which would you want to be? Would you rather have parasites and having a freaking giant spider plant her eggs in you, or would you rather just be filled with blight pus? I would probably go with blight pus if I had to choose. And yes.
Herself.
I am so sorry, dear sister.
And so the fair lady started to die. But at least
the fair lady. I also heard there's something you can do in order to get the fair lady to actually have dialogue and talk, but I don't remember where I saw that from.
She has her sister Quelag.
But promise me that you will take care of yourself.
It's actually insane.
Quelag kills everyone who enters her lair to gather the humanity that heals her dying sisters. That is, until she is killed by the chosen undead. So, who will take care of her now that her sister is gone?
That's sad.
Please, sister, do not cry. I am happy, really. I have you.
Oh, shoot! No! We freaking murdered her sister. Gosh!
Has tricked Darkstalker Karth out of a red eye orb. He invades worlds to steal humanity to heal the fair lady, rather than give them to Karth. His actions reveal that not all dark wraiths are evil. However, he is ultimately killed by the chosen undead, as his intentions are not understood until his corpse is found in the fair lady's company.
I never found that. I gotta go back there. Too bad I can't.
One undead may replace Quelag out of guilt. Another may choose to put the fair lady out of her misery.
Queen, but why?
Oh, she thinks that her sister killed you.
Monster! The fair lady! What have you done? What have you done?
Oh my gosh. This is why does everything have to be so freaking sad in this game? It's kind of annoying me right now. Like, can we just get a feel-good story? Like, where's the feel-good? Oh, but that's not what Miyazaki is intending when he's creating these worlds. Like, why? The life we live is walked with a lot of pain. And I guess you can't have, I guess you can't enjoy, you can't have joy without pain and suffering. So, maybe, this is like, I always get so sad at the end of a From Software game because I know the main hub area is going to be freaking empty besides one or two people you can talk to. Like, I love starting a new playthrough in Dark Souls 3 because you get visited by a bunch of other NPCs, you get to talk with them. And then by the end of the playthrough, they're dead, or they get lost somewhere in the world, and then it's just you, Andre, and nothing else. Same thing with the Elden Ring, man. You start with so many people in the Table of Lost Grace, and then at the end of the playthrough, it's just empty. Everything's dead. You burn the tree, the Erd tree. I'm sorry if that's spoilers for anyone who hasn't played Elden Ring. It's been out for a year. I don't know if that's enough for people to know things, but it's just like, I just hate getting to an end of a Souls game because it's just lonely, melancholy, sadness. Even though we achieve our goal, it's not very happy. It's not a happy feeling that we achieved the goal, you know? The only type of enjoyment you get is like overcoming your challenges in this game, and then you're left with what else after that? What left do you have of yourself if you're not overcoming challenges in this game?
Knight Lautrec looks out for himself. If we are to judge him, then we should count our own sins first. You who invades for humanity. You who kills simply because something is in your way, or because they have something important to you. Helm of Lautrec the Embraced, representing the goddess Fina's love. During his solitude, he forsook everything, for he believed in the goddess's love for him.
Yeah.
Ring of favor and protection, granted by Fina, known in legend to possess fateful beauty. The ring breaks if ever removed. Armor of Lautrec.
That's why I never put it. That's why I never put it on, because I didn't want to be a slave to that ring. Even though I was a slave to Havel's ring for the whole playthrough, I at least had the option to take it off if I needed to.
Representing the goddess Fina's love, the goddess's arms wrap around it as if to embrace the wearer. The goddess Fina seems more sinister than you would expect from a goddess of love.
Yeah.
She appears to a man who has forsaken everything, who will commit atrocities to serve. Her ring of protection breaks if you abandon her. The armor wraps its arms around you, clinging to the wearer.
Almost kind of like a parasite.
Of her love, or to remind you that
you
are hers.
But a parasite wouldn't kill its host, if that makes sense. Like, if you've watched Parasite Maximum, the anime, you know that, like, the parasite needs the host to stay alive. So it'll only take the amount it needs to sustain you. But just like kind of that parasitic relationship in nature is kind of odd, you know? And it's easy to be tricked by beauty. Because guess what? What's pretty on the outside is not always pretty on the inside. Some people don't have good hearts. Some people don't love. Some people are selfish. I'm selfish sometimes. I try not to be, but it's just, I don't know. I didn't expect to be analyzing my own character. But if you think about it, it's so easy to be convinced by someone who's good looking and pretty, and then you come to realize they're actually a nasty person on the inside. That's why my dad always says, like, to all of us, my sister, my older brothers, like, what's pretty on the inside is pretty on the outside.
We know her love is faithful. If you're hers, you're well and truly a part of her design. Whatever goals she has are yours as well. So did Fina really love him deeply and personally?
Heck no, ain't no way, bro. Lautrec is just a tool for her objectives. Ain't no way that's real love. Watch me be wrong, though.
It's possible. Interactions between the gods and the humans are quite common.
Especially in Lordran.
It's also possible that the man is simply within a religious delusion.
Could be.
We first encounter Knight Lautrec in a cell within the undead church. Why a church has a cell is a story in and of itself, as is the story of how Lautrec came to be trapped there.
I never really thought about why a church has a cell in the first place.
It could have something to do with the Firekeeper soul down below.
I did not even think of that. But I forgot about Oswald.
Perhaps Oswald the Pardoner.
He probably locked him up in there.
Maybe both. For if anyone is drenched in sin, it's Lautrec, and his desire for more humanity is clear. Even Patches speaks of it. It comes as no surprise, then, that Lautrec sets his sight on a harmless Firekeeper.
Ah, you jerk. You jerk, man. You messed with my Firekeeper, and I wasn't able to use the Firelink Shrine for multiple episodes. You jerk, Lautrec. That's why we clapped you. We freaking clapped you, son.
Keepers are corporeal manifestations of the bonfires they keep. Their souls are a draw for humanity offered to the bonfire, and as such their souls are gnawed by infinite humanity. It's clear that this isn't a fate that the Firekeeper enjoys, since she expresses that she wishes for the curse of the undead to be lifted so that she may
Some
die.
good chapstick.
Her tongue was cut out so she could not complain, and her blood-stained
bit
skirt
brutal.
implies that she was maimed so that she may not escape. Yet, despite this, she expresses a desire to fulfill her fate as a Firekeeper.
That's one
To a man who
resilient
desires
person.
humanity, whether for his goddess or for himself, a Firekeeper soul is quite a prize.
You don't,
Lautrec escapes with the Firekeeper soul. Whether he desires it for himself as a trophy or for his goddess is unclear. Yet you and many other parallel undead track him down and invade his world.
Ah! And then we destroy him.
So, here we go again. How many times will these lambs rush to slaughter?
Oh, apparently you get to redo the fight, maybe. Unless this is a different person he's playing as now, to kind of symbolize all the different actual players who go fight Lautrec. You always got to kill this the sorcerers first. Oh, get parried! Nicely done, Vati. Parry that fool. Parry him. Oh, you're doing a fantastic job, bro. Oh no. No, 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 no. Oh, look at that parry. Oh my gosh. He's gaming right now. He's absolutely gaming. Now it's just a 1v1, mano a mano, and then you get parried and you're dead.
This is the end of Knight Lautrec.
Freaking
Whatever his
right.
designs were, whatever the goddess wanted, it died with him. So, is it worth restoring the Firekeeper, or will you give in to the same temptations as Lautrec?
And then
Who wants
you
to go hollow after all.
Or you can just give the Firekeeper soul to the lady who keeps the bonfire lit at Anar Londo, and then just use her own soul for your own advantage. We're getting pretty close to the last set of videos here. Rhea, the Way of White, Big Hat Logan, the Heroes of Firelink Shrine, which ending is the good ending, Dark Souls story, Velka, and the Crow. I'm so excited. Let's get straight to it.
Those who are branded with the dark sign will live forever. But is eternal life a blessing or a curse?
I see it as a curse.
The theocracy in the land is based around the Way of White, which follows the will of Lord Gwyn. Serving under Gwyn are esteemed houses like the House of Thorland. Think for a moment about what you know of churches that existed in medieval times. Churches seek control of all people in the name of God, and are conservative by nature. They fear change.
I wouldn't say, like, I don't think putting it as controlling people is the right way to put it.
One day, people become branded with eternal life. This would disrupt the balance, and naturally the church would fear this. But how to deal with it? Should you label it as a blessing and as the will of God? No. If this eternal life ended with people losing the will to live and becoming hollow, then why not label the dark sign as a curse? We don't know what made the dark sign, but the church made it evil. So, what happens if a member of the church becomes undead? To keep the Age of Fire going, bonfires can be fed humanity through the art of kindling. Hidden deep within the catacombs is rumoured to be a technique where bonfires can be fed to grow even stronger. The Way of White seeks this knowledge to better serve Lord Gwyn.
Oh, okay. So they go down there. It makes sense why they actually go down to the catacombs, because they heard of the Way of Right, the right that Pinwheel has stolen, and then they get killed on their way down there.
The first
They don't realize how dangerous it is down there.
undead member of the church was a paladin in golden armour. Equipped with legendary treasures, he set out on the first undead mission of the Way of White. A mission for the rite of kindling. From this point forth, all undead within the church are sent on this same mission. This serves two purposes. Firstly, If any undead succeeds in retrieving the right, then the church will grow more powerful. Secondly, it doesn't matter if the mission ends in failure, because the church will have rid themselves of accursed undead. Rhea is a daughter of the House of Thoroland, which is inarguably the most prestigious religious family. However, she becomes undead, and even her high birth cannot save her from undergoing the undead mission. So Rhea is shipped to Lordran with two companions in a futile search for kindling. Upon arrival, Rhea meets Petrus. Petrus is an undead cleric who resides at Firelink Shrine. He guides undead on their mission. But there's more to this man than there seems.
Yeah, I want to...
The first clue comes from the items he has stashed under Firelink Shrine. Your second clue comes from the Pardoner.
Yeah. I've been wondering this whole thing about Petrus this whole time, because he just stands there. Okay, so I'm going to just make a little prediction, a little storytelling. And it comes from the anime of Hunter x Hunter. So when Gon and Killua are taking the exam to become certified hunters, there is a guy there who plays all goody-goody with them. He's like, I'll help you. Because he's like, I've done this so many times. I know the ins and outs. I will help you complete the test. And Gon and Killua, maybe Killua has some more, doubts considering who he is, but Gon is like innocent. He trusts people in a certain way, at least at that point in time. And that guy betrays them. Kind of like that. He's kind of he preys on noobs. It's kind of like a level 60 horde just freaking killing level 5s in the starter area of World of Warcraft. Petrus, man, I'm gonna... Ooh, Petrus, you little scheming motherfricker.
Hast thou acquaintance with Petrus of Thorold? I wager.
Dude, Petrus has probably sent so many undead hunts to, like, undead people to their grave because he doesn't want to do it himself.
You too.
That's why he doesn't go with this group of friends.
For is he not too drenched in sin?
I always wondered why he said that. It's making so much more sense now.
Shortly after they arrive, Rhea and her party disappear deep into the catacombs. For a while, the player will notice their absence from the game. Eventually, however, Petrus will return.
I never saw Petrus go down into the catacombs. I assumed he stayed. He stayed here.
And he returns alone.
Yeah, I never saw him go down to the catacombs. Never saw him down there.
Oh, you again? Me? I've become separated from my lady. I've scoured near and far, but no sight of her. Where could she have gone? My lady, to think I swore to protect you with my life.
He's lying. Petrus will gladly admit to his crimes if you discover the truth through lore trek.
Whoa!
Petrus reveals that he hates the lady for her high birth.
Oh! Why didn't I get to do this? Why didn't I get to do that? Oh my gosh. Oh.
But why did he abandon her? Perhaps he doesn't think she's worth it. Perhaps he is a coward. Or perhaps it is his job to ensure that undead never return from the catacombs.
Oh my gosh.
Good day. You look reasonably sane. What are you doing in the catacombs? Are you a cleric or something?
Oh!
Thoroland and her followers recently arrived in this land, but she became stranded deep below the catacombs. Her followers either fled or were reduced to hollows, leaving Maiden Thoroland all alone.
At the fault of you, Patches.
Not a bad tip, huh? A Nubar cleric would be replete with humanity.
Lautrec suggests that you rob the helpless girl of her humanity. She is alone in a dark pit, surrounded by her hollow friends and no way of escape.
No hollow, are you? Thank goodness. Please be careful. There are 2 fierce hollows not far from here. They were once brave knights, my former escorts. Who would...
Dude, there was so much I couldn't piece together on my first playthrough. It's insane how like clear everything is now from watching these videos. I'm so freaking happy that people have dedicated their whole channel to talking about these stories.
Let such strong spirits be hollowed so. Heavens, is there nothing at all to be done?
Vince and
Have
Nico.
you spoken with Sir Lautrec? Splendid. In the depths of the catacombs, Milady slipped off the giant's coffin and into a hole. Her 2 companions are no longer human, and the lass weeps in solitude. Right now, you could do as you please with her. The poor little purebred is entirely helpless.
I hate Petrus, dude.
Banished those 2 hollows, did you? It pains me to think of the trouble my failings have caused. I am certain that both Vince and Nico are grateful to you.
Yeah, Nico and Vince.
Oh, it's you. You rescued Milady. Well, a pity that is, for it will amount to nothing, for the little madam is not worth her salt without her family name.
Dude, the whole time, I couldn't progress the story. I'm trying to get Rhea to talk to Petrus. I'm like in the back of my head, I was like, why is Petrus not going up to like comfort her princess or Milady? Like, I never put that together. I never would have put that together.
After everything, you find Rhea alone praying in the church.
Dear Vince, dear Nico, forgive me. I have lost all those who were close to me. Perhaps Petrus realized my weakness all along and thus made the decision to abandon me.
Well,
I can hardly blame him now.
Okay, I didn't take her seriously when she said abandoned me, like he abandoned me. And I didn't even put it together, like abandoned me doesn't just mean like didn't go down. I assumed it meant he didn't go down to the catacombs with them because he was afraid, but he did go down to the catacombs with them and then he abandoned her. Oh, that makes so much more sense because I'm like, this by far, I think, has been some my favorite video to watch in this whole Prepare to Cry, because this is the one that eluded me the most so far.
If I do go hollow, then finish me off. I beg of you.
This is where the path splits, but both paths end in death. If you
Not
do
surprising.
Kill Petrus for abandoning Rhea, then Rhea will die. Petrus plays innocent, but if you kill him after her death, you will find her ivory talisman upon his person. Perhaps Petrus kills Rhea to keep her quiet. Perhaps he hates her high birth, or perhaps disposing of undead is his job. But if you kill Petrus for abandoning Rhea, then she will not be assassinated.
Ah! Oh, I should have murdered this guy from the get-go.
By the lords! You damned fool! Enough of you! Feel the wrath of the gods!
Fool! What were you thinking? Too bad for you. I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing.
I should have known. Man,
Driven to madness by emotion, so be it. You'll make a fine hollow. You can waltz in the infernal depths together.
This mother freaking D word.
No. This can't be. It can't
end like this?
If an undead has a purpose, then they will not hollow. Rhea will teach you miracles in the church until she has nothing left to teach.
Whoa. This whole time, I said it over and over and over again. Every time I ran past Petroson, I'm like, why is this motherfucker not hollowing out? Why is he not hollowing out? Because his purpose is to like keep on killing people, the line of Thorland who die and become undead. He's just here chilling to kill every single one of them. That's his purpose. Or his purpose is just forever hate Rhea.
Teach you. Shortly after, she loses the will to go on, but she continues to pray. Rhea is a highborn girl who becomes undead. She no longer has a place in her homeland, and is cast away to be forgotten. She does her best, but fails to find the secret of kindling. Betrayed by a man who hates her for a high birth. Tricked by Patches. Lusted after by Lautrec. And responsible for the death of her friends, she is rescued by you, the only one in Lordrun who gives her mercy. She repays you with miracles, but she soon teaches you all that she knows and is of no use. And there are eyes watching. Channelers are the eyes of Seath, and can be found in many lands. One of them frequents the undead church. While their motives are largely uncertain, it's known that Seath captures maidens for his experiments.
Oh,
the
shoot.
Channeler spies Rhea as she prays, and takes her to a cell in the archives. And that is where Rhea hollows, and spends the rest of her days.
Oh my gosh. Well, wait. Maybe that never happened because I killed the channeler. Like, how do you not kill the channeler if you're going through this Let's Play? Like, does the channeler, regardless whether you leave him alive or kill him, does this still happen? Because this never happened, and I visited multiple times after every other playthrough. I rested. I did what normally you do in a Dark Souls game where you go to an area, leave, come back, something's changed. I feel like I did that multiple times, but nothing changed. Or actually, maybe it's the channelers actually have like a rotation they go through. Like, if you kill one, maybe it takes a while for another channeler to learn that dude is dead, and then they continue the process. Interesting. Fascinating as well.
If I do go hollow, then finish me off. I beg of you.
She does ask for it, though. Like, she does not want to stay hollow. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more, we gotta like this video. We gotta like it.
Life originates in the
Frick.
Those who are branded with the dark sign will live forever. Life originates in the soul.
I have to say, I loved that video right there.
Which exists in solid and loose forms. Stronger beings have their souls held together in unicity, infusing their unique personality and power.
This is Big Hat Logan.
When the body is broken, the link to these souls is severed, exposing the solid soul to the air. When exposed, souls burn like they are on fire. It makes sense then that the 4 Lord Souls were found within the first flame. They were the fuel. But if the soul is the source of all life, then what distinguishes the humanity we hold within ourselves? The truth is, even humanity originates from the soul. It's simply a fragment of the dark soul.
That's
the mysteries
true.
of souls, crystals, and sorceries are deeply intertwined. The more you understand these things, the more control you have over them. Soul sorcery is the art of controlling soul power with knowledge, just like we manipulate fire with heart and instinct, and miracles through faith. The Dragon School of Vinheim teaches and researches sorcery. The great hero of Vinheim is Big Hat Logan, a great sorcerer and teacher to many students. In time, however, he tired from the attention of others and donned a large hat to hide his face, earning him his nickname.
Big Hat Logan.
Locked away in a cage in Sen's fortress, we first encounter Big Hat Logan.
I have a bright idea. Suppose you set me free. I'm old and empty-handed, but I could repay you with knowledge and sorcery.
I was so happy.
This place is melting.
I was so happy to find Big Hat Logan in my playthrough because I heard legends from him in Dark Souls 3, and then I got to meet the legend himself, which was so cool to experience it in that way. Like, you hear legend of him first, and then you meet him as an NPC, which was really cool.
In my mind, the inactivity is repressive. I'm saved, and I'd love to resume my travels, but I must log a few things first, and I owe you a favor.
Back at Firelink Shrine, Logan treats you like an equal, and offers to teach you all that he knows.
He didn't offer that for me.
As promised, I will share my sorceries. You really are very diligent.
On your journey, you'll find another sorcerer from Vinheim. Once rescued, Griggs joins you at Firelink Shrine as another sorcerer who's in your debt. On the topic of Logan, he says this.
He is a true hero. No, the reason I seek Logan is, well, it's really my own conceit now, isn't it?
This sorcerer of Vinheim seeks Logan simply to prove that he can. It's clear that he admires the man and strives to be like him. After you've proven your worth as a student and learned everything that Logan has to teach, Logan mentions that he has plans to leave. As to where, that's unknown.
Heading out, are you? I too will leave soon. Undead or no, I shan't stay here forever. You have great potential. Don't go and die over nothing.
With his debt repaid, Logan leaves Firelink.
I wish he told me that. He said, you do not have the basic framework. Oh, that jerk.
He tells you his plans, but he doesn't tell Griggs, who is left in the dark again.
Oh, there you are. Just so you know, Master Logan has left on his own again. It seems that he is still determined to find the famed regal archives in Anor Londo. I intend to search for him.
But you never do.
This is the last you'll ever hear of Griggs. Hope that you never see him again.
Oh,
sorcery
frick.
is enhanced by understanding and knowledge.
I never did see him again.
That's why Logan seeks the archives, a place built for Seath the Scaleless, as reward for his help against the everlasting dragons. The knowledge contained there is beyond measure. Seath was born different from his brothers, who were encased in stone scales that made them immortal. Seath was a mutation, an albino dragon who didn't have the immortality his brothers possessed. Driven by jealousy, he betrayed their secrets, and soon after, driven by desperation, he began the search for immortality. Seath created six-eyed channelers to be his eyes, scouring the archives and other lands for knowledge. He created crystal golems to retrieve trinkets and maidens for his experiments. He does all this, knowing that time is running out. Logan once taught you that life originates in the soul. That's why crystal homing soul mass draws towards it. Somehow, crystals are linked to the soul, and so, through the power of crystals, Seath finally finds what he's been looking for.
Ah. The secret of Seath's immortality. If you have fought him and were in prison, you must know that Seath is a true undead, different from ourselves. His wounds close promptly, and no mortal blow affects him, granting true insulation from death.
Dude, when you first try to kill Seath in the Duke Archives, I died like 2 or 3 times before I realized you're not supposed to kill him actually in the tower.
It is an effect of the primordial crystal, a sacred treasure pillaged by Seath when he turned upon the ancient dragons. So only by destroying the primordial crystal can you so much as scratch his hide.
Seath's knowledge comes at a price. He finds a source of immortality and hides it away, but something changes. The other lords notice. Seath locks himself away in his archives and stations 2 armored boars in the hallways. Channelers guard the stairways and crystal hollows are scattered throughout. On top of all that, the archives now lead anyone strong enough to a chamber with Seath himself inside. Upon your death, Seath locks you in a cell with a bonfire, knowing that you'll be locked into a cycle within that cell. It's almost like he knew you were coming. But you escape and roam the archives freely. This is where you encounter Logan again. But he's not the same.
Oh, there you are. It's been a while. Or were you just here? This fascinating place defeats my sense of time.
And that's...
I can't remember the death.
Wait, remember the death. Remember the death. He said that.
The same knowledge that unsettled Seath is affecting Logan.
I was right. I was right.
There's some things in the archives that should remain unknown.
I think I was right on my predicament.
Cursed, and the fate of the 3 sorcerers in Lordran is something that should be forgotten. The less that is known, the better.
Ah. I was right. Like, Logan did get affected by all the things that Seath did. But I do understand Seath's motive now, like why he betrayed. Gosh, man, I hate it when it does that. Just have them both. Just have these both be there at the start.
Or hollow. Is it the passing centuries in a never-ending life? The experience of dying hundreds of times? Or is it those things, coupled with a loss of hope? Firelink is often the last place the heroes visit before they hollow. It's the gateway to many dangerous places. Most undead in Lordran have a purpose that they strive towards before hollowing. However, there is one who is content to wait until his sanity slips away. The apathy of this man is kept within Firelink's shrine, where he simply watches. Heroes come and go, some never return, and he remains. At least nothing will bother him once he goes hollow.
Oi, did you see him? Big Hat Logan, the legendary sorcerer, in the flesh. This place is simply mad. Legendary heroes popping up left and right. They're making me feel quite inadequate, to be honest.
And we pushed him over the edge.
Have you seen that terribly morose lass, the Firekeeper? She's stuck keeping that bonfire lit. Sad, really. She's mute and bound to this forsaken place. How did that silly sorcerer's apprentice end up? You know, the one always prattling on about Master Logan. He left for the undead burg, but never came back. Serves him right. If even old Big Hat can't make it out there, what chance does he have? I hope he...
Bro, it just reminds me of how much of a hater, absolute hater, that the Sullen Knight was. I don't even remember his name. I just call him Sullen. Jeez. That man is the biggest hater, man. That man's a hater, man. Hate me because you ain't me.
He enjoys his new life as a hollow. How did that raggedy old chum end up?
Laurentius.
The one who idolized some godmother of pyromancy. He
Laurentius,
left for
I missed you.
Blighttown, but never came back. Did you hear about the maiden? The virtuous lass came back alone, and in absolute tatters. Did her followers die, or was she abandoned?
Both.
Who knows?
Both.
But I suppose we've heard the last from Milady. Did you ring the second bell? That is incredible, I must say. But now we have a new problem. It's noisy, it snores, and its breath is lethal. And I was really beginning to like it here.
Do not tell me that is the reason he goes down to New Londo and becomes a hollow. Because Framp's breath smells bad. If that's the case, why he goes hollow in New Londo, that is hilarious.
Maybe it's time I do something about it.
Wait, did he actually try to kill Frampt?
Well, what are you going to do? I've already decided. I don't really care. I'm simply crestfallen.
He's called the Crestfallen Knight. Why do I keep calling him the Sullen Knight? He's the Crestfallen Knight. Don't tell me he actually tried to kill Frampt. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Instead of... it really... Okay, my thoughts are everywhere. He really tried to kill Frampt because his breath smelled, and because he couldn't kill the primordial serpent, primordial serpent, he goes hollow in New Londo. Okay. Alright. The heroes of Firelink Shrine. Is that what I'm watching? The heroes. Which ending is the good ending?
Most AAA titles these days are pretty predictable. You have the hero, the villain, the polite dialogue choice, the rude dialogue choice, the bad guys, the good guys, and all the meaningless choices along the way. If you're watching my videos, then you should already know that Dark Souls breaks the mold.
It does.
Most games either have one canon ending or allow you to choose from a selection of moral minefield endings at the end of the game. Dark Souls is the latter, but the endings are ambiguous as hell. The more you learn about the game, the more confusing the endings become. Most games give you closure, but both Dark Souls endings probably leave you wondering what would happen next. What consequence would my choice have in the game world? The first ending we'll analyze is the Link the Fire ending. You sacrifice your body and soul as fuel for the first flame, which keeps the gods in power. We'll call this the light ending. Your other choice is letting the flame die out, allowing you to become the Dark Lord and ushering in the Age of Man. Let's call this the dark ending. Now, this video assumes you have some idea of what's going on in the Dark Souls universe.
Yes.
If you don't, I have a Dark Souls lore in a minute video you could watch, or you could brush up on the fundamentals presented by Epic Name Drop.
Name drop.
The endings, you must understand what makes them significant. In the beginning, the 4 Lord Souls were found within the first flame.
Yep.
Gwyn obtained the Light Soul and ushered in an Age of Fire based around that first flame. This Age of Fire meant that the gods and the lords were in control of the world, ruling over humanity. They lit bonfires from the first flame and shepherded the humans. But where did the humans come from?
Where did they come?
That humanity is spawned from the fragments of the Dark Soul. As humanity split and grew, the dark began to overcome the light.
I get it. I get it now.
This disparity plays a huge role in the game. As the first flame faded, the light faded, and as the light faded, the power of Gwyn and the Age of Fire faded. As the gods started to lose their power, they began to recognize the threat that humanity could pose. It seems the gods couldn't decide what to make of humanity. In the dialogues of Kiaran and Goff, we see some of this uncertainty. If you aid them, they decide that humans aren't so bad after all. But if you slight them, then they treat you with that built-up resentment.
Oh, really? Oh, that scared me.
This is true human nature.
Whoa, wait. How do you... I'm trying to pause. How is it even possible to slight Goff? Or Sharon? Oh, probably if you choose to not share the soul with Artorias. Maybe that's what, like, if you keep the soul of Artorias, then they're like, ah, you human scum.
Anor Londo and the remaining gods use illusions to preserve their power. Gwyn, holder of the Light Soul, goes to the kiln of the first flame and offers himself as fuel. He sacrifices himself to let the flame burn a little longer. This buys the gods a bit more time to find a solution to their problem. You are that solution. By linking the fire, you become the fuel for the first flame. With you in Gwyn's place, the Age of Fire can continue. But what makes you so special? Well, the character is a very powerful undead if they can make it all the way to Gwyn, and it follows that the more powerful you are, the longer you will burn. It could be that this is why Frampt is trying to push undead towards Gwyn. He's trying to find the one who will burn the longest.
Bro, why do I... Okay, after, like, watching this one, I feel specifically, like, manipulated by Frampt. I'm starting to think that maybe the Age of Fire is not the good ending after all.
So by burning in Gwyn's place, you have to ask yourself what purpose it serves. You're preserving the reign of the gods and rising to the needs of a dying hierarchy. It's not even a temporary solution. Gwyn was powerful enough to take out the immortal dragons, and even he became a husk by the end. So while you could see linking the flame as a selfless act, it's hard to imagine that you're doing it for any greater purpose. Indeed, if you link the flame, you are rising to the needs of people who could simply be using you.
Yeah.
So, is this the good ending? At first glance, it seems like it. Most players go through the game only meeting the serpent Frampt, who promises that linking the flame will undo the curse of the undead. He talks of fate and gives you purpose. So at first, I thought this was the right thing to do. I didn't know that Anor Londo and Guinevere were illusions.
Dude!
I didn't know I was being used, and I thought I was being selfless. But then I heard what Karth had to say. He says that after the advent of fire, the ancient lords found 3 souls, but your progenitor found the Dark Soul, and waited for fire to subside.
Oh my gosh! The furtive pygmy is the hero of the story all along. Oh my gosh, at least that's how I see it right now. That's how I see it right now. Shoot! No wonder. No wonder.
He says that with the fading flame comes the age of man. He paints Gwyn as a god who resisted the course of nature, and says that you are being manipulated by Frampt to keep Gwyn's age of fire going. By killing Gwyn and walking away from the first flame, Karth promises that the dark will finally come, and with it, the age of man will begin. At first, I thought that Karth's hidden dialogue was the truth. It makes sense. When you realize that Frampt is manipulating you, you feel like you should believe everything Karth has to say.
Dude, quit playing with my psychology right now, Vati. Stop doing it. I don't like it. Because I just agreed with... I thought I was doing the right thing with Frampt, and now I just agreed with everything Karth had to say, or about the furtive pygmy and stuff like that, but now I'm not so sure based on why you said that. Tell me why you think Karth is probably not the right answer here as well.
It seems like Karth is telling the whole truth, but is he telling the whole truth? Is the darkness really a place where humans can thrive? Humans are born from the dark soul, that much is true. The Black Humanity sprite is proof of that. But when we journey back to see what happened in Ulasil, we realize how dangerous the dark is to humans.
Yeah, that's
was
true.
Once a human city, overrun by the dark. These are its residents, and this is the fate of the humans who come into contact with the dark. This is the age of man that Karth promises. One serpent tells you lies, and the other tells you truth. Both of them are manipulating you. If you link the fire, you are sacrificing yourself so that Frampt and Gwyndolin can rule with the illusion of power in Anor Londo. If you let the flame fade, the age of dark will come.
That's 4 of them.
Is this a place where humans thrive?
Oh, there's so many primordial servants.
In the end, it doesn't matter what you do. If you link the flame, you're just delaying the inevitable. If you let the flame fade, the darkness comes a little sooner, with you at the helm. The one canon ending to Dark Souls is in the prologue.
Ooh!
One day the flame will fade, and only dark will remain. So instead of choosing an ending, just go and live with Priscilla or something.
Oh, hey, you know what? I might just go ahead and do that, Vati. I might just go ahead and do that. Alright, the last lore video. We've been at this for 2 hours and 40 minutes. I did not expect to be recording this long. Whew! Hopefully you guys enjoy this as much as I've been enjoying all this. I love this cutscene so much. Prepare to why Velka and the Crow.
Why does the Crow take the chosen undead to Lordran? Oscar speaks of a prophecy in which the chosen undead must escape the asylum. It's easy to say that the Crow is just a meaningless method of transport, but perhaps the story is deeper than that. Gargoyles guard the Bell of Awakening, bat demons take you from Sen's Fortress to Anor Londo, and snake men are used as guards. The lords seem to have the ability to make beasts do their bidding.
Okay, dude, here's why I probably could never do what Vati Vidya does. These are questions I don't usually ask when I'm presented with, like, the stuff that I come across in-game. I don't normally think of asking these type of questions. It makes me feel inferior, Vati. Stop making me feel inferior. Oh, that's crazy. I never would have thought like that, or thought that.
There is one goddess in particular who has a powerful link with crows.
Velka.
In Japanese mythology, crows are messengers from the gods, symbolizing divine intervention and guidance on human affairs. The crow takes you to Lordran, where you become manipulated by the gods. So if we assume that Velka is linked to the giant crow, or is the crow, we have to ask, why would she want powerful undead to escape the asylum? Velka is the goddess of sin. It's worth noting that she doesn't have a lord soul, but is an actual goddess. She does not just punish humans, she has a great degree of influence where the gods are concerned, and the lords fear her. Everything related to Velka, and everything that the lords fear, is locked away in the painted world of Ariamis.
What? Ariamis.
In the painted world, there are hundreds of crows. There are the crow people of Velka,
Yep.
There is the equipment of Velka's partners, and there are the spells used by her order. Most importantly, however, the painted world holds everything that the lords fear. It holds the occult Ember and the half-dragon Priscilla, both of which are lethal to the Lords. So with all this information, we are left guessing the allegiance of Velka. Why is she taking undead from the asylum to Lordran?
You have to be...
The Vow of Silence miracle describes Velka as a rogue deity, suggesting she has no allegiance save the hunting down of sinners. Perhaps by taking you to Lordran, she is unleashing you upon the gods for their sins.
That's a good theory.
Certainly is a nightmare for any gods he encounters.
That is
them relentlessly until he succeeds, not even letting death stop him.
That is a great theory.
Unkillable come at you over and over again is pretty good punishment.
Wow, that is such a good freaking...
Perhaps Velka is on Gwendolyn's side. Gwendolyn is the leader of the Dark Moons, who hunt down sinners inside Velka's Book of the Guilty. Gwendolyn wants to find worthy undead.
Wait, is it? Wait, hold on. I'm not sure if I want to see this.
Since she chooses powerful undead.
This is a boss I may not have ever seen. Do I want to see this? Okay.
Interpretation number 3 is your own interpretation. I can't say I'm right and I can't say you're wrong, because the game is open-ended and it's fun to speculate. So based on this information, do you think Velka has a hidden role in the plot? Is she playing her hand from behind the scenes? Why?
Bro, like, the ending of Dark Souls 3 is not even helping me here. Like, the knowledge I have from Dark Souls 3 is not even helping me here. I feel like I don't even have much knowledge of Dark Souls 3 now that I've watched these videos. I tell ya, dude, you guys, please subscribe to VatiVidya if you haven't already. I love his content. I love what he's done for the Souls franchise. I love the speculation, the storytelling, how he's put together all these videos in a cohesive manner that's very entertaining to watch. His theory crafting, I think, is pretty solid. It, helps me make sense of the world of Lordran and Dark Souls lore in general. That has been 2 hours and 44 minutes of reacting to Dark Souls lore through the Prepare to Cry series. I don't kind of want to delay this any further. If you guys really enjoyed watching that video, please consider subbing to the channel. Peace, love, God bless, and I will see you on the playthrough of Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. I'm excited to get that game started. I'm excited to finish off the whole playthrough with an epic lore sesh. It's like we watched the whole movie of Lord of the Rings with how long this episode went on. I really hope you enjoyed. This is like my first time reacting to a type of video and making it a whole YouTube video. All credit is to VatiVidya, because I would not even be able to make this video without the work that he has done. The link to his channel is going to be in the top of my description. My channel is freaking small, so I doubt that'll do anything for his channel, but you got to give props to who the props are deserved to, and VatiVidya has done a fantastic job putting all this stuff together for us to enjoy after going and playing a very fun game. I'm very happy right now. I am very thankful, and I'll just say my outro again. Peace and love. God bless, and I hope to see you in the next episode or the next series on my channel. Thank you to everyone who's come along with me on my journey, and I'll say it a third time. Peace and love. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.